This young man was completely stunned when he woke up, greeted by the sight of two massive round hills. Death God had transmigrated. He had transmigrated into a newborn baby with a not yet fully developed brain. A system panel quickly appeared, Lum 2 ton, 33 days old, attributes none. And he even got a golden finger. Later, when Lum 2 ton was 3 months old, Uyen Hun and Ngon Sin were happily playing with their little baby. Is our little treasure on your lap again? He doesn't cry or make a fuss at all. You're such a well-behaved baby, it makes mommy worry less. This boy seems to have a gift for physical prowess. He'll definitely become a gene fuser in the future. A high-level one at that, just you wait. And even if he falls short, he'll surely become a cyborg. The system's achievement panel quickly popped up after 3 months. I've completed the first system mission. The skill, only advance, never retreat, makes me feel my strength improving slightly, but this gene fuser and cyborg stuff. What on earth is my dad talking about? Could it be like a junkie or Iron Man? Sometime later, at 4 months old, 2 Thon already knew how to sit up and crawl, to avoid surprising his parents with his unusual actions. He could only start his training at night. Time flew by, and at 5 months old, thanks to Only Advance Never Retreat, he could already walk. And by the time Lum 2 Thon was 6 months old, he could finally sit up and crawl in front of his parents. The news report on TV came on. Next up is a report on the aberrant beasts, the gene fusers, and the mechanically modified. Let's unite to fight the aberrant beasts. And for the first time, Tuthon realized that the Earth he was living on was different from the one he knew before transmigrating. To be more precise, the Earth Tuthin now lived on had changed, and many terrifying unknown creatures had appeared. These creatures were collectively known as aberrant beasts. In order to fight them, humanity over many decades developed 2 paths. One was mechanical augmentation, physical modification, and using technology to defeat the aberrant beasts. In addition, there was another more advanced path, gene fusion, fusing with the genes of aberrant beasts to gain a portion of their power fighting fire with fire. Fortunately, Tuthon had his own system. It would allow him to grow up, safely evolve, and survive in this dangerous world. Just then, a knock on the door caught Tuthon's attention. A gentle voice came from the other side. "Hello, my name is Tu Mong. I'm your new next-door neighbor. This is a small housewarming gift. These two are my husband Tham Kien Geep and my daughter Tom Than Ham. We'll be in your care from now on." This little girl was Tuthon's first friend in this world, but at this moment, he had no idea if the fates of the two of them would become deeply intertwined in the future. Later, when Lum Tutan was 7 months old, he could already coordinate his body to practice running skillfully. He could even jump and control his height in the air. Not only that, he also practiced his monologue and language expression skills. With the help of Only Advance Never Retreat, Tu Than mastered basic skills like running, jumping, and speaking in just 7 months. Very quickly, Lum Tutun turned 8 months old. At 8 months, he could already do sit-ups and push-ups, though he only dared to do them when his parents weren't home. But if you walk by the riverside often enough, you're bound to get your feet wet. As expected, an accident happened today. Oyen Han unconsciously rubbed her eyes again and again. What's going on? Why is Than doing sit-ups? I knew it. I've been so engrossed in writing my novel lately that my mind is playing tricks on me, and now I'm starting to hallucinate. It's to be expected. Profession of Trung Nguyen Hun, male-oriented fiction novelist. Tutun pretended to be sleepy while breathing a sigh of relief. That was a close call. I'll have to be more careful next time. A few days later, Uyen Han screamed in terror. "Honey, something terrible has happened. Get in here, quick." Ngon Sin rushed to open the door. "Honey, what's wrong?" She looked anxiously at their son's body. Why does our Than have abdominal muscles when he's only 8 months old? He quickly rubbed his chin in thought. Then Than's appetite is already monstrous. Now, he even has abs. I get it, honey. Could our son be a 1 in a million genius? It seems our Than has a bright future ahead of him. He'll most likely become a gene fusion user, or at the very least, a mechanically modified person, the professions from the author Lam Ngan Sin's novel, N+1 The Death God Hack. I was almost found out. I can't believe Dad actually thought I was a genius. Having 2 novelist parents is pretty lucky. Speaking of geniuses, Zishen isn't the only one on this strange earth. The young genius of a 1,000-year-old martial arts family in the capital, born with divine strength, was able to lift a 20-kilogram weight with one hand at just 2 years old. Yuan Han gently patted his head to encourage him. Our Thin Than is very impressive too. I'm sure that in the future you won't be any less than that genius boy from the great family. After hearing that he developed a strong ambition, my mom really is a good judge of character, but I wonder if I'll be able to easily lift 20 kilograms when I'm 2 years old. Sometime later, 2-year-old Lam Zixin proudly lifted the heavy object. I'm finally 2 years old. Thanks to my advanced never retreat skill, I can now easily lift 20 kilograms with one hand. Yuan Han quickly shouted out, looking for Than Than. Where are you, little Sister Ham? Ham is here to play with you. Why aren't you coming out? He dusted himself off to quickly go outside. The moment he opened the door, Zixin's mind wavered. It was 2-year-old Than Ham, along with her second egg tart. He shyly refused thanks, but you can have it. Than Ham was the same age as him, but she still spoke with a childish voice and unclear pronunciation. Because their intellectual abilities were so different, the two of them couldn't really play together. Ham would go to sleep after eating, while he would take the chance to exercise. The two always liked to play together, and Ham was his dumbbell. She was the perfect dumbbell for Zixin to use during his exercises, but there was one small problem with this particular dumbbell. Zixin screamed in horror. Mom, I think. Ham wet herself again. That problem was her occasional accidents. Lam Zixin, age 3. At the age of 3, he could lift a 40-kilogram weight with one hand. A shocking news report appeared on the TV. A 4.5-year-old prodigy in the capital could lift a 30-kilogram weight with just one hand. But Zixin was already stronger than the prodigy of his time. He looked at his biological system panel and pondered. However, my biological level is still at the most common level, stage 1. So what would common stage 2 be? Would it be far beyond human limits? Filled with this doubt, Zixin stepped out of his house for the very first time. When he saw the outside world for the first time, those must be orcs and robots. They must be gene hybrid humans and androids, right? The first place Zixin went was the library. His parents didn't allow him to use too many electronic devices, so the best place for Zixin to find answers to his questions was the library. Seeing her son run off, Yuan Han and Than Ham hurriedly chased after him. Than, the children's reading area is right here. Where are you going? Than, wait for me, she panted, but still managed to ask. Than, why do you like reading these kinds of books? Tu Mong beamed with a teasing look. Looks like this is the academic prodigy gene at work. Meanwhile, the innocent Than Ham offered him food. Then I still have some cookies. Do you want one? Zixin firmly refused. No thank you, I want to read. You can eat it. Through reading, he began to gain a new understanding of the world view on this mutated Earth. It turns out the ancient stone tablet of this mysterious ruin recorded that this world is divided into 6 biological levels: common, advanced, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. Within each level, it is further divided into 9 stages, and ordinary humans are at stage 1 of the common level. In front of higher-level creatures, they are no better than ants. It seems Death must accelerate his development to have a chance of survival in this dangerous world. As if it understood him, the system immediately gave Death a new mission. As a 4-year-old, Death didn't slack off in the following days, but continued to read and exercise. At age 4, Death started kindergarten. Right after starting kindergarten, he smoothly leveled up to common stage 2, able to lift 80 kilograms with one hand, jump 1.2 meters high from a standstill, and run 100 meters in under 11 seconds. These numbers, even an ordinary adult couldn't achieve that, let alone a kindergartner. As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. The other kids ganged up to tease 4-year-old Shen Qinghan, the bedwetting king. He often wet the bed, so when Han was bullied in kindergarten, how could Death not step in? He stood on the teacher's platform and shouted to teach them a lesson. All of you shut your mouths. If anyone dares to call him the bedwetting king again, I will make that person the new bedwetting king. Is that clear? The children immediately burst into tears. Daddy, I'm scared, Mommy. I want to go home. I won't do it again. I'm not coming to kindergarten anymore. Unexpectedly, at that moment, a new mission appeared. The previous mission is not even complete. And a new one has already arrived. It seems you can take on multiple missions at once. This is great news, isn't it? Half a year later, Death completed the mission with flying colors. He completed the reading mission and received the biological attribute Root of Heavenly Wisdom. From then on, his learning ability reached the peak of humanity. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, he was almost 7 years old. The two of them successfully graduated from kindergarten. During the break before elementary school, Death continued to exercise and improve himself. He leaped high into the air and looked down at the ground. This time he broke the 2-meter mark. He finally ran the 100 meters in under 8 seconds. Thanks to the blessing of his Root of Heavenly Wisdom, he had already completed all the elementary school coursework in his spare time. He hoped he could soon earn the title of elementary school big boss. Death enrolled at Sunshine Elementary School in Shanghai City. He had finally entered elementary school. Since he had already begun self-studying middle and high school courses, winning in elementary school was a piece of cake, but winning awards was a trivial matter. The important thing was to quickly claim the title of elementary school big boss. Whenever he had free time, Death would tutor Shen Qinghan. He sat close by, helping with homework. Read it with me again. Grandmother. Qinghan mischievously teased back. Oh, shut your mouth. He patiently corrected him. Nope, not right. Read it again. Although Shen Qinghan wasn't exceptionally talented, he was very obedient and hardworking. After just 1 semester, his grades ranked second in the entire year, while number 1 was, of course, Death. To earn his title sooner, besides studying, he also actively participated in school sports competitions, breaking every school record. Just when Death thought he would be stuck repeating this daily routine and living a dull elementary school life, a special transfer student suddenly appeared in his class. The homeroom teacher excitedly announced, "Today, our class is welcoming a new transfer student." The reason Death said she was special was because, "Everyone, please give a warm welcome to our new classmate, Snow White." I could really feel some kind of aura from something. It was a non-human aura coming from her. In the classroom hallway, Snow White walked confidently as relentless gazes followed her every move. Then Ham immediately whispered to the Death God sitting next to her, "Oh God, her hair is so beautiful, just like snowflakes in winter." I thought helplessly, having no intention of answering Than Ham. Snow White returned to her seat, gently pulled out her chair, and sat down right behind me. I was still lost in thought. What concerned me more was, why does Snow White have a non-human aura? Could she be a gene integrator or a descendant of one recalling those days? These days, Snow White didn't interact with anyone. As soon as class was over, she would just lie motionless on her desk, rarely even going to the restroom. At first, everyone was curious about her. But as time went on, no one paid attention to her anymore, and the classroom returned to its usual quietness. It wasn't until over 1 month later that the tranquility was finally broken. During this time, a kind of white liquid was being secreted from Snow White's body. I don't know what it was exactly, but it had a very unpleasant smell whenever she stretched. The foul smell made the surrounding students frown in discomfort. What on earth is that liquid on her? Yeah, it really stinks. A male student passing by chimed in. This liquid seems familiar. Looks like you're not very clean. Quan Thuan then unhesitatingly walked up behind Snow White. He poured water directly onto her head and said sarcastically, "I'm a nice guy, so I'll help you out. Taking a bath will make you healthier." Cold drops of water fell down. Snow White's hands on the desk clenched tightly. She gritted her teeth in anger, letting out a soft whimper as the cold water silently trickled through her hair. It ran down her thin blouse, soaking it completely. As for the students who had just done this, they were casually laughing and joking with glee, which made me turn around and wonder what was happening. I always thought Snow White was supposed to be dangerous, but why is she crying? Seeing this, a very worried Than Ham said, "Death God, poor Snow White. Can we please help her?" I stood up resolutely and quickly answered, "Okay." My mind was racing with thoughts. Although I don't know Snow White's true identity, it seems she's not as dangerous as I thought. At least for now, she's just a weak girl being bullied. With that thought, I walked over, slammed my hand on the guy's shoulder, and called out, "Quanthan." My face darkened, my expression unreadable as I commanded in a low voice, "Clean up the water on Snow White's desk." He heard the demand as if struck by lightning. He was so shocked, he broke out in a cold sweat, stammering, "No problem. I'll clean it up immediately, knowing his place. Kwanthun went to wipe the water off the desk, thinking worriedly to himself. Lin Zishen is famous throughout the school for being skilled in both academics and fighting. Even the 6th graders don't dare to mess with him. It's better to just do what he says. Meanwhile, I pointed at Kwanthun and warned everyone, all of you who have been bullying Snow White during this time. Get over here and apologize to her right now. The students were just as startled. After hearing the request, they all turned pale with fear and answered clearly. Then they obediently formed a single line in front of her desk. Then they spoke timidly. We were wrong. Bai Shui, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I won't dare to bully anyone anymore. Bai Shui, filled with gratitude, said Lin Zishen Shenqing Han. Thank you both. She patted Bai Shui's shoulder and replied, Don't be so formal. It's normal for classmates to help each other when they're in trouble. From that day on, Shenqing Han started to get closer to that white-haired girl, and she would drag me along to befriend her. If there were any delicious snacks, she would share them with her first. Outside, while Bai Shui and Qing Han were chatting excitedly. That's right, she stammered and asked quietly, I have a bad smell? Don't you guys hate me for it? Bai Shui's eyes welled up with tears as she explained, I'm sorry. It's not that I don't believe you. It's just that I've been shunned and hated by everyone since I was little, so this feeling of happiness, having someone by my side for the first time, feels so unreal, as if I'm dreaming. After hearing her confession, Qing Han immediately affirmed no. This isn't a dream, she confided sincerely. I've had the same experience as you, so I will never hate you besides. As long as you agree, we will be best friends forever. After hearing these words, Bai Shui felt an immense warmth in her heart. She reached out her arms and without hesitation hugged Qing Han tightly. Bai Shui's mouth stammered as tears streamed down her face. Thank you both. As if remembering something, Bai Shui added, Oh right, Han, little Shen, you two always cook delicious food for me and are my friends too. So I also want to give you something. This pair of beast fangs was a birthday gift from my mom last year. Now I'm giving it to you. I hope you two don't mind. And I hope we will be best friends forever. A firm promise, we will be best friends forever, just as Shenqing Han thought this friendship would last forever. An unexpected event occurred. She was stunned when she heard the news. What you mean, Bai Shui is transferring schools? Zishen nodded affirmatively. That's right. I saw it with my own eyes. She was completing the transfer procedures. Scene change. The man in glasses standing next to Bai Shui in the teacher's office spoke up. I'm truly sorry for the trouble, sir. She handed the teacher a file and also said, Thank you, teacher. He replied, It's nothing. Bai Shui's procedures are complete, and the information is kept completely confidential. Zishen, standing outside, overheard the conversation and quickly realized Bai Shui's identity was indeed not simple. From that day on, we never saw Bai Shui again. Perhaps she was just a fleeting figure in our childhood. Compared to Bai Shui's departure, the following events were what concerned me more. Scene change to the evening in a room filled with warm, cozy light. Zishen gently asked, Mom, is the pressure okay? Wan An stretched and replied, It's fine. I spent the whole day writing my novel today. It's a good thing little Shen helped me massage my shoulders. I feel much better now. Zishen mused. I had previously learned professional massage techniques through the grace of the celestial wisdom root, and I never expected them to be so effective. An announcement came from the TV screen. Next up is major news. The capital's prodigy has achieved new glory. At the age of 10, he has successfully fused with a mutant beast gene and lifted a 1,000-pound boulder with just one hand. Zishen froze, staring at the TV screen and thinking to himself, it's him. He's already started the gene fusion process. From the doorway, Yan Sheng, while drying his hair, spoke with a weary tone. The capital's prodigy again. He's so photogenic. Is this some kind of stunt to become an influencer and then make money by selling products? Whatever. They're also a 1,000-year-old martial arts family from the capital who knows if they possess some advanced gene fusion technology. Wang Yin retorted, but you can't use your own child as a test subject. Right, he explained meticulously. For a martial arts family, sacrificing personal interests for the family's benefit is the supreme path. Otherwise, you can't become a true family. A martial arts one. After hearing that, she was quickly convinced and replied, all right. While the two of them were locked in a heated argument, Death God was standing in a corner thinking, this prodigy from the capital could previously only lift a weight of 100 kilograms with one hand, but after the gene fusion, he could directly lift a 500-kilogram weight, which is 5 times more. But when I was only 8 years old, I could already lift 300 kilograms with one hand, even without gene fusion. It seems my potential is still greater. At first, after thinking that I was full of confidence in the future. But it wasn't until I saw the next news report that I realized what the feeling of being dominated by fear was like. A new announcement appeared on the TV screen. We interrupt this program for some breaking news. A serious attack by mutated beasts has occurred in a neighboring country. According to footage recorded by witnesses, this attack is related to giant rats. On the screen, a beautiful woman was being attacked by a monster. It wanted to devour her. The terrified woman screamed repeatedly, "Help me! Quick! Help me!" But as the words left her mouth, the monster's jaws snapped shut on her. Fresh red blood splattered out. The giant monster opened its huge mouth, preparing to swallow the woman. After an investigation, a man made a public statement. It was discovered that a heretical cult was behind this mutated rat attack. All eyes were on him as he spoke. I hope that all nations will support our Yinghua nation and work together to eliminate this heretical cult. Back to death. God, he was currently stroking his chin, thinking. The so-called heretical cult is an anti-human organization founded by traitors for their own benefit. They willingly become the hounds of the heresy and carry out attacks on the human world. Luckily, I was born in a powerful nation with a relatively stable environment. This allows me to continue to grow and develop. After thinking for a moment, his eyes suddenly widened as he realized something. An extremely loud noise from outside startled Death God and his parents. There was an explosion outside the window, and he quickly ran over to check. Death. God's hand pulled back the curtain, revealing the night sky full of twinkling stars. To his surprise, many people were flying swiftly across the sky, which made him wonder, why are so many of the government's mechanically augmented individuals flying by? Right now, I hope nothing bad is happening. The next morning, the sky was bright and clear. Death. God stopped and reminded Qinghan, "Hurry up, we're going to be late." She rushed over, replying, "Sorry to keep you waiting." He suddenly stopped short, his gaze fixed in bewilderment. "Huh." Death God held up the item and said, Han, your beast tooth is glowing." She looked at it bewildered. Huh, it really is. Death God deduced, could this be the tooth of a mutated beast? He silently realized, no wonder Bai Shui has a non-human aura. The source of that aura must be from this tooth. The light from the fang only lasted for a moment, so we didn't investigate it further. But the gathering of those mechanically augmented people last night, and the strange phenomenon of the beast fang, made me feel that something bad was about to happen. As the two of us were walking to school, we unexpectedly passed a woman smoking while leaning against a utility pole on the roadside. The red-haired woman waited for the two kids to pass and then casually spoke. "These kids are cute, aren't they?" Then she directly stepped forward and asked them, "Are you two brother and sister?" Qinghan quickly and cheerfully replied, "We're not blood-related. We're childhood sweethearts and also best friends." Hearing this, the woman chimed in, "Childhood sweethearts, huh? That's enough to make anyone jealous. I wish I had a childhood sweetheart, too. Hey, you kids are so young. Are you already walking to school by yourselves? Where are your parents?" Thenham hesitated about to answer about her parents, but Tuthan impatiently grabbed her hand and cut her off. "Don't talk anymore," he urged. "We're about to be late. Hurry up." After they got to school, Tuthan gently reminded her, "From now on, don't answer questions from strangers." "You got that?" Thenham obediently replied, "I got it." After school, as evening approached, the setting sun cast a golden glow as the two reached the entrance of a small alley. Thenham spoke up nervously, "Tuthan, this alley is too quiet. Ooh, it feels so gloomy and ominous." Tuthan calmly explained, "This place is scheduled for demolition next week, and the residents have already moved out. That's why it's so quiet." The words had barely left his mouth when a red-haired woman stepped out and said, "Well, now, are you two little ones finally out of school?" She suddenly called out, "Thang, stop looking. The two little brats are over here." The moment Tuthan saw her, he pulled Thenham behind him. He thought to himself, "It's her after school. I purposely took a different route to walk Ham home. I can't believe she followed us. The redhead, skillfully holding a cigarette, tried to lure them in. Hey kids, I have lots of delicious snacks at my place. Want to come over and play? The bald man scoffed in disgust. Quit with the nonsense. Losing his patience, he charged forward, yelling, Let's just knock them out and take them. That'll settle it. I'm in a hurry to sell them for cash. Unflinching Tuthan took a stance and then decisively threw a punch straight forward, aiming right for the bald man's chest. The blow made him spit up blood as he was sent flying, slamming into the wall behind them. The redhead froze completely stunned, turning to look at the bald man. The bewildered redhead thought to herself, This is impossible. Completely impossible. How could an elementary school kid send a grown man flying like that? But Tuthan didn't stop there, continuing his assault. He landed a decisive punch to the redhead's face, then picked up a brick and advanced on the two ill-intentioned strangers, his mind racing. There are no cameras around here to prevent future complications. It looks like I'll have to take care of them. I didn't want this to happen, but if they tell anyone about what happened today, my powers will be exposed. At that point, my plan for survival, and for becoming stronger, will turn to dust. Suddenly, the space around them began to shake violently, confusing Tuthan. What's happening? Why is there a sudden earthquake? But no, that was the tremor from the footstep of a giant monster. The creature appeared behind the two villains. It opened its mouth in a ferocious roar. He quickly identified it as a giant mutant rat. The rat's jaws gaped wide, ready to swallow the redhead, who was still dazed from the punch. It effortlessly snapped the woman up into its mouth. Then one of its paws grabbed the bald man, preparing for its meal. This made Tuthan realize with alarm, this is a huge problem. Thenham stood there, witnessing the entire scene. Her body trembling uncontrollably, she asked in terror, Tuthan, what is that thing? He quickly picked her up and calmly replied, It's a giant mutant rat. We need to quickly escape to a safe place up high. A mechanically enhanced person quickly appeared. She headed straight for the mutant rat at an incredible speed. The strong gust of wind she created forced Reaper and Chinghan to stop and watch. It's a cyborg. He commented they got here pretty fast. The cyborg stood facing the monster, then raised her hand. A blinding light emanated from her palm, along with the summoning call for Energy Cannon 4. She opened her hand and decisively attacked with the numbing smoke technique. A continuous barrage of bullets fired relentlessly towards the mutant rat. Just a few minutes later, a huge explosion erupted, shaking the entire area. Stage 4. Continuous cannon shells were fired, attacking the mutant rat repeatedly. It was in so much pain it couldn't move. The continuous explosions left it just drooling with its mouth hanging open. The cyborg delivered a clean slash to the mutant rat's neck. Back home while watching TV, Reaper's mind wandered. This cyborg girl's level isn't that high. First, she used numbing bullets to weaken the mutant rat. Then it took a full 7 minutes of close combat to finish the fight. Giant mutant rats are really tough to deal with. When fully grown, they're over 3 meters long, and their biological level is equivalent to a common stage 5. I was lucky to escape with my life yesterday. It looks like I still need to ramp up my training. Although the threat from the mutant rats remained, life had to go on as usual. Soon enough, Han and I celebrated our 9th birthday. After making our wishes, we exchanged birthday gifts. Thanks to my innate celestial wisdom in a single night, I taught myself how to carve a wooden hairpin. As a gift for Shen Qinghan, she said happily, Thank you, little Shen. This hairpin is so beautiful. I love it. In the blink of an eye, we had graduated from elementary school, and we entered middle school. Thinking back, I was still a little excited. I'm so close to achieving it. I'm about to be crowned the little overlord of middle school. Then I'll receive the might makes right biological trait. During the break, I prepared to get the title faster. And to greatly improve my strength, I stuck to high-intensity training every single day. My power grew daily until finally on the day before the new school year began. My biological level successfully broke through. I broke through to common stage 3, and many of my other physical attributes improved significantly, such as lifting 700 kilograms with one hand, a 4-meter vertical jump, and a 6-second 100-meter dash. I had no idea what level the capital's prodigy was at, but coincidentally on the night before school started, news about him was on TV. The 14-year-old prodigy from the capital has fused with giant ant genes and can easily lift a 2,000-kilogram alloy with just one hand, Reaper thought. Giant ant genes can increase one's strength by at least 4 to 8 times, so even at a 4 times multiplier, his real strength is only lifting 400 kilograms. With just one hand at that. So I'm still stronger than him. In the future, I'll undergo gene fusion myself. I'm really looking forward to it. The sky that day was incredibly clear and bright. My middle school career officially began. Since I was the top student in the city back in elementary school, the principals of all the top schools in the city wanted to recruit me. In the end, I accepted the offer from Shanghai Middle School on the condition that Shen Qinghan could continue to be in the same school and class as me. As a freshman, the principal and my homeroom teacher came to welcome me and urged me to strive to bring honor to the school in the future. After some brief pleasantries, I found an excuse to leave. Back in the principal's office, the teachers were placing all their faith in me. From now on, all of the school's competitions will depend on you. Go, little Shen. You're the best little Shen. The principal has high hopes for you. And as for my reason to slip away, it's because the sports facilities at Sun Hai Junior High School are so well equipped. Before school started, Han Han and I had arranged to play a game of badminton at the court. Than Ham held the shuttlecock and announced, Xiao Shen, let's begin. She fiercely hit the shuttlecock forward. Take this fairy's arc shot. But instead of flying towards the racket, the shuttlecock flew straight into someone's hand. A young man in a hat postured, holding his racket out, and growled, You two are new here, aren't you? There's a special event here for our graduating class. 2 other guys with lecherous faces approached from behind and teased, But this little lady can stay. We guys here can take turns practicing our skills with you. Yeah. If you don't know how to play, we can teach you step by step. Than Ham retorted fearlessly. Even if you're older than us, you still have to follow the rules. We were here first. The Reaper, who had been expressionless the whole time, finally spoke up. Hey, stay away from her. There's also a first-come, first-served rule. I don't need to explain that, do I? Oritsai. The leader in the hat retorted insolently. Who says that's the rule, huh? Even if the Jade Emperor himself got here first, I'm taking this spot. The Reaper holding the shuttlecock said with a firm and assertive voice, Listen carefully. He tossed the shuttlecock and continued, From now on, my rules are the only rules. As he finished speaking, the Reaper struck the shuttlecock with immense force, sending it flying forward at a dizzying speed. The force was so strong that as it flew past the hat guy's racket, it instantly pierced through it and tore his hat. He was so terrified his nose started running, thinking in horror, That was way too fast. Is he even human? Seeing this, his lackey was just as terrified, thinking, could he be a gene-fused person? No way, he's way too young for that. The guy with glasses realized with his jaw dropped. If that had missed our boss's head, would have exploded. Having learned their harsh lesson, the 3 of them immediately understood and bowed their heads in apology. They said in unison, We're sorry, we understand the rules now. We'll take our leave now. You two please take your time and play. Perhaps the news spread, and after that, no one bullied us in junior high anymore. Junior high was just like elementary school, except it was bigger and had a better environment. It had better activities, and just like that, I completed junior high. During classes, I mostly read extracurricular books that interested me. At night, after finishing my physical training, I would learn new skills from the internet. Under the guidance of the celestial Hui Zhen, I gradually learned how to cook, do photography, drive, swim, and survive in the wild, and many other sports skills. To quickly obtain the title of Junior High's Little Overlord, I not only ranked first in all subjects, but also helped the school enter many competitions. At the national junior high level, I won gold, silver, and bronze medals in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and computer programming. I didn't dare win. First place in all of them, to stay humble. A semester flew by in the blink of an eye, but the title still hadn't activated. However, thanks to my excellent achievements, I gained a lot of fans, but I didn't care about them. Other than tutoring Shen Than Ham, I focused all my attention on the upcoming sports festival. If I dominate the school's sports festival, I'll surely get the junior high's Little Overlord title right. For this event, I'm only considering shot put, high jump, and sprinting. These 3 main events represent strength jumping ability and speed. as long as I dominate all 3 of these categories. It would mean I've dominated every aspect of sports, although I was very careful during the competition not to be too outrageous winning the prize. This first one was relatively easy. I can already feel a power emanating from within my body. The middle school Little Overlord title has finally been unlocked. The strong preys on the weak. The life origin of a death god is above all creation. Only by devouring the life origins of other living beings can I advance my own evolution. As he walked, he pondered what exactly life origin meant. Than Ham ran up from behind. Tu Thun, wait for me. Suddenly his eyes widened as he remembered something. That's right. Tu Than looked over and asked, Ham, can I borrow that beast tooth of yours to take a look? She handed it to him without hesitation. Here. Tu Than's eyes widened in astonishment. He stared blankly at the object in his hand. This is actually a butterfly's tooth. That night, Tu Than got on his computer to do some research. Now that I know the name of this mutated beast, I might be able to find some information about it online. But the text that appeared on the screen left him disappointed. There was absolutely nothing. He refused to accept that. He turned back and rummaged through his bag. It seems if I want to understand this mutated beast, I'll have to rely on myself. Then Tu Than picked up the tooth to examine it. Found it. Luckily, Bai Shui gave me 2 of them back then. He gripped it tightly, attempting to devour a sliver of its life origin. But what Tu Than received was his second disappointment of the day, only 2%. It seems there isn't much life force left in animal bones. If I want to unlock it completely, I'll have to find another way. The next day after school, he started cycling to school and giving Than Ham a ride every day to increase his physical training, just in case they ran into that giant mutated rat again. That way he could quickly get her to safety. As he was cruising down the road, someone called out to him, Student Tu Than. It was Mr. Quetch, who stopped to introduce himself. I'm Teacher Quatch from the school's martial arts team. Your performance at the sports meet was the best in our school's history. His face was filled with excitement. Therefore, I'd like to invite you to join the school's martial arts team. Teacher Quatch tried his best to persuade him. Your athletic talent is even greater than your academic aptitude. So please, I hope you'll agree. Of course, you can learn more about the martial arts team before making a decision. Tu Than walked away looking helpless. Teacher Quatch spoke so fast he didn't even get a chance to refuse. He, on the other hand, was overjoyed. Room C in the school gymnasium is the martial arts team's headquarters. If you're free tomorrow, be sure to drop by. I'll be waiting for you. The sun began to set, signaling the end of a long day. But somewhere in a room, 2 hands clapped together forcefully. Tu Than looked at the dead fly in his palm, mentally adding it to the cockroaches and mosquitoes he had just crushed. The strong preys on the weak survival attribute skill didn't activate. It seems only powerful mutated beasts possess enough life origin to be devoured. Finally, he grabbed his trusty phone, and then Tu Than got on his bike and rode off. With Than Ham on the back, he thought to himself as he pedaled, to test my theory, I've decided to go to the butcher section in the shopping center's supermarket to see what I can find. Before long, they arrived at the supermarket in the city center. Tu Than picked up several trays of meat, examining them carefully. There's quite a lot of animal meat here, but it's all pre-packaged. I can't confirm my theory unless I touch it directly. Suddenly, an employee's voice caught his attention. Freshly cut meat. Come and make your selection. And the butcher's counter caught Tu Than's eye. There it is. The butcher over there is slicing meat. He excitedly rushed over. Ham, wait for me here. I'm just going over to check out that meat. With that said, Tu Than zipped over his eyes, shining like stars. Maybe Ham found it a bit gross, but to confirm my suspicions as quickly as possible, I didn't explain it to her. My hand reached out, trembling slightly. After all, the truth was right in front of my eyes. The moment I touched it, I felt a surge of overflowing power. I was right after all, beast meat truly contains an incredibly abundant source of life essence. Seeing this scene made Than Ham freeze. Tu Than, are you all right? Why get so worked up just from touching it? Her face was stiff with curiosity as she asked Tu Than, what does the meat feel like? Is it any different from regular meat? He tossed the piece of meat back. There's no difference. It just feels fresher. That's all. Do you want to try touching it? Than Ham quickly waved her hands in refusal. No need. It's enough that you touched it. After that, Tu Than turned away. Since we're already here, let's buy some to try, shall we? He walked around for a bit, and what caught his eye were the sky-high price tags. I'm not surprised that Ham was shocked, because beast meat isn't cheap at all. Even the cheapest kind, the ghost shadow squid, costs nearly 1,000 yuan per kilogram. Tuthan picked up a tray of meat and held it up. Let's buy this one, the ghost shadow squid. Seeing this, then Ham broke out in a nervous sweat. Tuthan, this is too expensive. Why don't you ask Auntie Hun first before deciding? Suddenly he gently patted her head to reassure her. Don't worry. Tuthan leaned in close and said in a caring voice, my mom already told me to buy some more. An image of Uyen Hun appeared busy in the kitchen. If you're buying beast meat, then buy a few more kilograms, son, and tell Ham to come over and try it. I'll transfer the money to you. He excitedly pointed at the tray of squid tentacles. She's going to prepare a beast meat feast for both our families. But besides wanting to share it, there was another reason Tuthan bought the meat. He was worried that directly absorbing the life essence would cause the meat to deteriorate. Of course, this was just a guess, so Tuthan had to test it with the purchased meat. The cashier's voice rang out. Hello, 3 kilograms of ghost shadow squid. That'll be a total of 2,994 yuan. After he paid, she cheerfully waved goodbye. Thank you for your purchase. Please come again. On the other hand, Tuthan turned and walked away, his heart and his wallet both aching. It's ridiculously expensive. I wonder when I'll be able to afford this again. By the time they finished buying the meat, it was already past 9 p.m. Things have been a bit unstable lately, so it's safer to go home early. Thus, the two of them headed straight home. But he was too eager to wait and reached out his hand. Even though we're on the road, I have to confirm my theory right now. It's time to witness a miracle. Tuthan lightly touched the squid tentacle. Immediately, he received a notification. You have devoured a small amount of the ghost shadow squid's source life essence. And then the ghost shadow squid's pattern appeared 0.1%. And so, Tuthan quickly rode off. As he pedaled, his mind raced. Devouring 100 grams of the ghost shadow squid's life essence only unlocks the pattern by 0.1%. By that calculation, I'd need to devour 100 kilograms to reach 100%. At a price of 998 yuan per kilogram, that would cost about 100,000 yuan. In his mind, an image of the ghost shadow squid appeared. Its ability is to dissolve in water and disappear. If I could obtain this ability, then 100,000 yuan would be totally worth it. Besides, this is the cheapest meat I can even buy. He silently calculated in his head and made up his mind. Next, I have to figure out a way to earn money. This is a huge amount of money. I can't possibly ask my family for it. Suddenly, the Reaper's eyes widened. That's right. The purpose of buying the meat was to check if it would spoil after absorbing the life essence after all. He looked at the shimmering piece of meat in the basket. It's been a while now, so there should be a result soon. The Reaper reached out and touched it. It seems absorbing life essence doesn't spoil the meat. Huh, that's great. Ink Devil Shadow. Immediately, he received a notification progress at 3%. Suddenly, Thanham's voice called out, Little Shen, be careful. There are people up ahead. Luckily, he managed to brake in time, the wheels screeching on the road and creating a trail of white smoke. The Reaper looked at the two people in front of him, apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. He scratched his head in embarrassment. He was so focused on absorbing the life essence that he forgot to watch the road. But why? Is this bike lane so crowded? Suddenly, Thanham pointed ahead. Little Shen, look over there. Her sharp eyes spotted Miss Strawberry. A red-haired man was holding her hostage with a weapon. Don't come any closer. If you come any closer, I'll kill her. On the opposite side, Zhuan's son and his team were surrounding them. You're surrounded. Stay calm and put down your weapon. Then he turned to give an order. Abin, don't shoot recklessly. The distance is too close, and that guy is a pro. He's using the hostage as a shield. He's also moving constantly. A stray shot could easily injure the hostage. He held his gun tightly. But if we drag this out, the hostage will be in danger. How about we try using hypnotic gas? Captain Xuansun's face grew stern. No. Hypnotic gas is too obvious. If it provokes him before it takes effect, it could easily lead to extreme actions. However, the Reaper who was behind them had quietly picked up a small stone. Then he threw it with all his might, zipping past the faces of the two people. And then, The stone hit the red-haired man's hand that was holding the weapon, causing him to cry out in pain and release Strawberry. Xuansun immediately gave the order to his team. Now, in the end, the red-haired man was pinned to the ground. Elsewhere, Than Ham asked suspiciously, "Little Shen, was that stone you're doing?" But he gestured for her to be quiet. "Let's go back first, we'll talk later." They had only quietly taken 3 steps when Xuansun spotted them. "Stop right there, student. Did you throw that stone just now?" The Reaper quickly got on his bike, waving his hands. "It wasn't me." The old man watched the 2 of them flee for their lives and wondered, "That's strange. Why would someone do a good deed and not admit it?" Then Xuansun threw the stone away. "There's a reward for an act of bravery, you know." Those words suddenly reached the Reaper's ears, making him stop in his tracks. Like a gust of wind, he turned back and stopped in front of the old man. "A reward." The Reaper scratched his head shyly. "I suddenly remembered something. That stone, it was me who threw it." His inner thoughts were even more embarrassed. "I really don't want to do this. But money is just too important to me." Than Ham ran up from behind, calling, "Little Shen, why did you turn back again? Wait for me." Then the old man made a suggestion. "Come with me to the station to give a statement first. I'll help you claim the reward." After the 2 of them told their families they were going to the police station to give statements, they parked and locked their bikes in the park. Then they prepared to get in the car and head to the police station to collect the Reaper's first ever earnings. As expected, the red-haired man was escorted to the station, but then the unexpected happened. The red-haired man's entire body began to transform. The police officers there panicked completely. "This is bad. He's a heretic cultist. He's showing signs of mutation. And he's turning into a giant rat." He immediately lunged forward and knocked down the female officer. Seeing this, Xuansun commanded his team, "All security personnel focus fire on the mutated rat, but prioritize protecting the civilians." He picked up his radio to report the emergency to headquarters. "A giant mutant rat has appeared in West Zhongbei Road Park. Our preliminary assessment is that it's a heretic carrying the Rat King's genes. We can't handle it. It needs reinforcements." With quick thinking, Reaper grabbed Strawberry with one hand. "Damn it!" With his other hand, he held Than Ham tightly, and then Reaper fled with them. "My apologies to you 2. But the most important thing right now is to escape with our lives." He glanced back while running. "Luckily, it's not catching up. We have to go faster." Suddenly, a strange girl appeared above Reaper, flying past. "It's a cyborg." She dove in, kicking the giant rat in the face. It was caught off guard and sent skidding backward. The cyborg then detached 2 armor packs from her chest, revealing charging laser cannons. She then fired a powerful blast at it. Firing, the giant rat's face was instantly disfigured, and before it could even react, it was vaporized into nothing. Reaper's eyes widened in astonishment. So powerful. Since he needed the money, he still held on tightly to his bicycle. "Luckily, my bike didn't get blown up, or the loss would have been huge. I can't lose it." And Strawberry let out a sigh of relief. "That's great. We've been saved." Then Ham, beside her, was also overjoyed. Yes, suddenly, Reaper's eyes caught something. "Wait a minute." He looked at the piece of squid tentacle which was slowly turning dark. "The beast meat has spoiled." Reaper picked it up, dismayed. "It seems that even after the life essence is absorbed, the meat still spoils, just at a slower rate. I need to come up with an explanation for why this meat went bad. I guess I'll just have to blame it on that heretic." He then furiously threw it to the ground. It's all that heretic's fault. The cyborg's attack just now was too powerful. It must have scorched the meat. Seeing this, Than Ham quickly reassured him. "It's all right, little Shen. The important thing is that we're safe. That's all that matters." They originally wanted to go home, but at the captain's request, all 3 of them took the security team's vehicle back to the station to give a statement. Unexpectedly, the heretic's body, which was hit by the laser cannon, still had some charred black residue left. The key thing was the very stimulating smell. The look in Reaper's eyes changed. That's right. The beast fang from before still had some life essence left. That means this corpse must have some too. In that case, can't I absorb the gene? The Rat King gene's in the corpse. A Class 7 heretic follower. I wonder how many Rat King genes I can devour this time. There's only one way to find out. A pink aura gradually seeped into his hands. Suddenly, Reaper's eyes shot open. The notification he received was a surprise. This much, it seems, the freshness. is directly proportional to the amount of absorbable life essence. Noticing the strange movement, Bing spoke up curiously. "Hey student, please sit still and hold on tight. Don't fidget." Reaper quickly waved his hand. "Don't get the wrong idea. I've just been sitting for too long, so I'm just stretching a little." Bing seemed easy to fool, but the security captain was much sharper. At the Xuan Sun security office, Captain Xuan Sun questioned him relentlessly. "I've already submitted your application for a bravery award, but please be honest with me. From that far away and in such dim light, how could a high school student like you manage to hit the knife hand of that heretic?" Toothan hurriedly replied perfunctorily, "Perhaps it is. It is probably because I often practice with my right hand." Seeing he could not get any information, the old man stared sternly at him. Then suddenly the door opened. Thanham appeared at the door, calling out loudly, "Toothan, your aunt is here to take us home." Toothan turned in surprise. "Mom, why are you here? We can go home by ourselves." Uyen Han ran over worriedly Toothan. She hugged him tightly, sobbing. "Are you all right, son? You scared me to death." Toothan quickly reassured her. "Mom, please do not get so worked up. I am perfectly fine, am I not? Plus, I even got a cash reward for my bravery." Uyen Han gripped Toothan's hand tightly. "Toothan, promise me that next time you are in danger, you will hide somewhere safe first, okay?" Her earnest tone stunned him because I just want to see you grow up safe and sound. And so Toothan took Uyen Han's arm and led her away. "Do not worry, Mom. I promise I will definitely protect myself first." As they were walking, the voice of a red-haired female security officer caught his attention. The rat god cult is getting more and more outrageous. The blonde female security officer sighed wearily nowadays. They are even infiltrating colleges and universities, mainly to deceive liberal arts students who have not officially qualified to integrate genes. She also added the person who was shot dead tonight was a liberal arts student from Kwangnam University who had been bewitched by the rat god cult. The blonde security officer cursed angrily, "Damn it. We must drag this rat god cult out and arrest every single one of them." Her voice sounded uneasy. "This is just a temporary solution and does not solve the root problem. We still have to eliminate the Rat King, the one who calls himself a god. That alone was enough." Toothan had already grasped the key point, the Rat King, and so he took out his phone to search. There was quite a lot of information about the rat god cult on the internet, just as Toothan thought. The rat god cult's headquarters is in Sun Hai City. Most of its followers are social outcasts. Have their activities become more rampant this year? He sat in the car, staring intently at his phone, deep in thought. Suddenly, Toothan's eyes widened in shock because he had received a very important piece of news. The Rat King wants to evolve into a higher-level creature. So he had his followers collect 11 large quantities of evolutionary resources for him. His face showed his astonishment. Could it be that this Rat King has already evolved to gain sentience? Then Toothan turned his head to look at two creatures on the roadside, giant mutant rats. How could they be so big? Could this be related to the Rat King? But then he put a hand to his head and sighed silently, calming himself down. Forget it. This is the South rats, as big as cats, are a common sight. Toothan glanced over at Thanham worriedly. That is right. Why is Ham so quiet? He noticed her trembling legs. Could it be that kind of thing again? In his mind, Toothan pictured her uncomfortable state. Whenever Ham gets suddenly anxious or is in an urgent situation, she is just like when she was little, unable to hold it in. The car moved along, carrying his vague thoughts. But I always feel like her situation might be related to some kind of latent potential. Who knows? When they got home, Uyen Han was shocked to hear the news. What, the meat is gone? Toothan scratched his head in embarrassment. The situation was very urgent back then, so I was not paying attention. I think I must have lost it. She sighed, placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, and said, Forget it. As long as you're safe, that's all that matters. The meat is lost, so it's lost. At that moment, his heart suddenly felt light. He was so lucky he managed to cover it up. Suddenly, Toothan's voice became urgent. Dad, it's too dangerous, Dad. It's not peaceful over there. Ngonsin gently coaxed. It's okay. I was born to be a worker. I'm tough. He tried his best to grab his hand and stop him. Even if you find the meat, it will have spoiled by now. Dad? Ngonsin asked curiously. How do you know Toothan felt a little guilty? I was just guessing, of course. Back at the security office, Juan Sun was alone smoking a cigarette. How could a middle school student possibly throw a stone with that much power? Suddenly, his face showed astonishment, because in front of Juan Sun was a giant creature standing on top of the cabinet. Where did this rat come from? How did it get so big? Tuthan was sitting in class with his friends, but his head was in the clouds. Although he was writing, his mind was wandering, thinking about the rat man and the female android from last night. I'm still too weak. Looks like I need to earn money quickly to fill the progress bar and unlock a new demon shadow. But relying on scholarships from competitions inside and outside of school is too slow. Then Tuthan imagined all sorts of ways to become a famous study guru online, and then sell study guides directly. No, that would make money fast. But it would attract too much attention. No, that's not right. I'm thinking about this the wrong way. He quickly refocused his thoughts. This world is full of gene-fused people and mechanically modified people. Learning martial arts is better than academics. The prize money for martial arts competitions is much higher than for other subjects. It seems like it's time to take action. Everyone was gathered in Gym C. Quat was blowing on a cup of warm water to cool it down when Tuthan quickly ran up to greet him, startling him so much that he spat out the water. "Hello, Teacher Quack." Quack ignored it, turned his head, and gripped Tuthan's hand tightly. "Are you here to join, or are you still just looking to learn more about the martial arts team?" Tuthan quickly leaned in close, cupped his hand, and whispered, "I want to know if joining the martial arts team will give me a chance to participate in the city's martial arts competitions. And is the prize money high?" Quack confidently raised one finger and said sagely, "Of course there's a chance. Moreover, the prize money is not low at all. The smaller prizes are at least tens of thousands." Tuthan gripped his hand tightly, looking very convinced. "Teacher, I've thought it over carefully. From today on, I am officially a member of the martial arts team." Quack happily accepted at once. "Welcome aboard!" He raised his hand high and shouted, "Attention! Everyone gather around. Today a new member is joining us. I believe everyone is familiar with student Lum Tuthan. Today our school's sports festival champion will be joining the martial arts team of ours. Why don't you all introduce yourselves a little?" Trung Kai crossed his arms and spoke up. "Greetings. My name is Trung Kai. Remember my name." Thien Hun gently waved. "My name is Huang Thien Hun, a student in class 3 of the 9th grade. You can just call me Hun." Thudong naively scratched his head and introduced himself. "My name is Li Tudong, a student in class 6 of the 9th grade. People usually call me Little Li. I quite like this name the most." Suk stuck one hand in his pocket and said confidently, "My name is Han Yat Suk. Just call me Brother Suk." After that, he cheerfully smiled and introduced himself. "My name is Lam Tuthan. I hope everyone can guide me." Since Tuthan had never practiced martial arts before Master Quach first demonstrated for him, the boxing and kicking techniques took a lot of effort from Master Quach, and his forehead was covered in sweat. Do not look down on these simple moves. They are actually quite difficult. Even Little Lee, the fastest learner on the team, took a whole week. "Now you give it a try for me." Tuthan quickly lifted one leg and perfectly replicated the hand movements. He was recreating the skills and techniques that Master Quach had just performed using his heavenly innate talent. The biology attribute system panel appeared. You are practicing fist arts. You are practicing kicking arts. At the same time, Tuthan executed every move with the same precision as Master Quach. The master's face froze. His jaw dropped. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The other members of the martial arts team also stood to the side, completely frozen. How could he learn it? Just by watching it once. Master Quach's eyes lit up and sparkled. Unless he is a 1 in 1,000 martial arts genius that evening. Tuthan returned home to his mother, Uyen Han. She held up a rice spoon and called out, "Little then hurry and get 8 chopsticks so we can get ready for dinner." He quickly grabbed a bowl and spoon and ran over. "I am here. What are we having for dinner tonight, Mom?" Uyen Han then placed his favorite dish right in front of her son. "Of course, it is the shadow phantom squid you are always thinking about." Tuthan inhaled the fragrant aroma of the dish and praised it. "It smells absolutely delicious." She laughed and urged him, "Stop sniffing and eat it while it is still hot." After that, he quickly put a spoonful into his mouth and started chewing. Uyen Han came closer, waiting for his review. "So how does it taste?" Toothan's eyes crinkled into a smile as he praised her. Mom's cooking is the best in the world. She happily ruffled her son's hair. Then you have to eat a lot more. I bought a whole 3 kilograms of it. The attribute system panel quickly appeared. You have devoured a small amount of the Shadow Phantom Squid's life essence. This made him realize in a daze so I can devour it just by eating it normally. If I had known sooner, I would not have touched it. And after that, the mother and son watched a TV broadcast together. Genius Girl shocks the nation. At the age of 14, she is successfully fused with an energy heart, becoming the youngest cyborg in history. When the energy is activated, she can easily lift a 2,000-kilogram SUV with one hand, sprint 100 meters in just 3 seconds, and has a vertical leap of up to 8 meters. Toothan rested his chin on his hand, carefully considering the capital's prodigy from back then. And now this genius girl. So, who is stronger in the end? The gene hybrid or the cyborg? The TV screen switched to another news report. Sad news. Security Captain Ha Xuan's son passed away in his office at 11 o'clock last night, according to surveillance footage. He was killed by a giant rat that snuck into the security department. Hearing this, Toothan froze, his face turning pale as he remembered. Could it be the giant rat from last night? No, I have to seize every moment and train harder. After a period of training, Toothan's 100-meter sprint time reached 4.61 seconds, his vertical leap reached 5.51 meters, and he could lift objects weighing around 1,000 kilograms. With just one hand, Toothan diligently practiced his martial arts, hoping to improve his strength as soon as possible to prepare for the competitions. The next morning, he went to the training hall to continue learning new martial arts and practice. Out of curiosity, Han also went with Toothan. The pink-haired senior suddenly appeared, blocking Junior Toothan's way. You haven't had breakfast yet, have you? She gently held something out in front of him. I brought some milk for you. This is fresh milk. Toothan quickly tried to leave, but not without thanking her. No, thank you. Thanks for your kind offer. Seeing this, Zhang Kai fumed internally. Damn it, this guy stole my championship title at the school's sports festival. On top of that, now he's rejecting a gift from my goddess. So he quickly blocked his path. Stop right there. Don't you have any manners? If you're not going to drink it, you could at least accept it and give it to someone else. Like me, for example. Why do you have to hurt other people's feelings like that? Toothan wasn't afraid and stared back, asking, Isn't this even more impolite? Zhang Kai, at a loss for words, stammered, Well then just drink it all. Not drinking it is disrespectful, and being disrespectful is impolite, Toothan calmly retorted, but I'm allergic to milk. He became visibly flustered. Bullshit, I don't believe you, Lamb Toothan. Do you dare to fight me? If I lose, I'll never say another word to you again. But if I win, you have to drink every last drop of this milk. The system panel quickly displayed an achievement. He excitedly looked up with an expectant expression. I've been waiting forever. I finally got the 4th achievement quest. After that, Toothan channeled his internal energy and then taunted, All right then, let's have a match then. At that moment, the pink-haired and purple-haired girls gathered around, buzzing with excitement. I heard Lam Toothan is going to fight a senior from the training hall. Let's hurry over and watch. Everyone was gathered in a circle in the gym. The purple-haired girl blushed and shouted words of encouragement. Junior Toothan, I'll be cheering for you. Teach him a lesson. The pink-haired girl quickly started recording with her phone, then smiled brightly and cheered. Go, Junior Toothan. I'll take lots of great pictures for you. Zhang Kai listened uncomfortably to the noisy fans. Does everyone think I'm going to lose? I have to take this opportunity to teach this immature genius junior a lesson. I don't care if it's a senior picking on a junior. In just 1 month, this kid's talent has progressed at lightning speed. If I don't make a move now, I won't get another chance to show him who's boss. Toothan put his hands on his hips and said loudly, This is such a pain, I still have to go home for dinner. Can we make this quick? He smirked. Fine, I'll grant you your wish. Guo immediately raised his hand and brought it down to start. Remember, friendship comes first. Everything else is secondary. Begin. Zhang Kai looked down and shouted, Wait a minute. You've only been learning for 1 month, while I've been learning for almost 2 years. To be fair, I'll let you have the first 3 moves. As he said that, he held up 3 fingers. Toothan casually accepted. Okay then. The moment the words were out, he lunged forward with his fist raised, causing the other to freeze on the spot. Death, God switched hands and sent a powerful fist flying forward. Trong Kai's face was crushed, blood streaming from his nose as he quickly lay motionless on the dirt floor and foamed at the mouth. Quach stood outside watching with his jaw dropped. What the heck? Just one punch. The remaining members of the martial arts team also cried out in shock at this power. Holy crap, this is just way too absurd. It ended just like that. Than Ham quickly raised her hands and cheered loudly. We won! Death God won. Pink hair and purple hair also jumped for joy. Junior Death God is so handsome. The system notification popped up. You have defeated your rival and captured the heart of the opposite sex, receiving priority in mate selection. Rivals eliminated 1 out of 1,000. Death God put his hands on his hips, looked up and thought, I still have to eliminate 999 more rivals to unlock the natural selection survival attribute. Then he scratched his head and turned to invite the other disciples. Hey, senior brothers, why don't we take this chance to have a little spar? The martial arts team members stared at Death God in fear. They quickly scrammed with lame excuses. I suddenly remembered, I have cram school today. My mom told me to come home early for dinner. I have to take a crap. I'll go with you. Me too. Let me come along. I'm suddenly feeling dizzy. I'll help you to the nurse's office. Trong Kai clutched his stomach, scrambling to his feet with a pale face. I don't accept this, you little brat. You sucker punched me. If you try that again, I'll kill you. Quach quickly approached to lecture Trong Kai. You must accept your defeat. Was Death God's punch a lucky shot or a true show of overwhelming strength? Let's have little Lizzie test him and we'll find out. Afterwards, he decided to call another disciple out for the experiment. Little Lizzie, you're up. The student quickly got into a ready stance, but his face was full of fear. My apologies, junior brother. Can you not hit my face, junior brother? But 10 minutes later, trying not to be too flashy, Death God had only intentionally exchanged a few moves with his senior brothers, but except for the progress made after defeating Trong Kai, his progress meter didn't increase after defeating the other brothers. The system panel displayed an achievement in an official match. Eliminate 1,000 different rivals using the most primitive biological method. Reward obtained. Natural selection. Biological attribute. Total rivals eliminated 1 out of 1,000. He looked up and pondered. So throwing the match is useless. I have to defeat them for real. Quach suddenly put a hand on his shoulder with a dark smile. Genius, Death God, you truly are a genius. You've only been on the martial arts team for just over a month, and you're already our ace. In this year's district martial arts tournament, our Sun High Middle School will definitely crush the other schools and take first place in the district. Just you wait and see. Hearing this, Death God quickly realized, that's right, by competing in the martial arts tournament, I can defeat a lot of opponents directly. All I have to do is successfully defeat my opponents in the matches. I can definitely speed up my mission progress. As he was scheming, Trong Kai's voice shouted Lam Tuthan. His face was covered in injuries, but his hands were still making a provocative gesture. Trong Kai, I accept my loss. From now on, even if you were to take a dump on my head, I wouldn't say a single word to you. Everyone was horrified when they heard that. Their faces turned pale. Everyone quickly ran away, leaving Trong Kai stammering in confusion. Wait, I'm not done talking in this world. Middle school students either learn martial arts or fine arts, and naturally, martial arts is the #1 choice in this world. Then Ham chased after him, calling out, Little Shen, wait for me. Come on, I'm almost catching up. To get into the advanced martial arts class, Than Ham had started training with Death God. After running 3,000 meters, they would practice martial arts for 1 hour to improve their striking techniques. And then, he also performed some sit-ups and push-ups to improve his physical strength and endurance. And after each hellish training session, Zishen would help Shen Qinghan massage and soothe her muscles. But to prepare for the upcoming martial arts competition, he couldn't rest on his laurels. To ignite the natural selection attribute as soon as possible, Zishen knew he had to risk it all. After 1 month, the day of the competition had finally arrived. Everyone was gathered in a large crowd at the city stadium. In the contestants' rest area, Guo held a piece of paper, his face pale with fear. Shanghai Junior High School. We were so unlucky to draw into the group with Shanghai #1 High School, the strongest team. Shutong sadly lowered his head. This year, #1 High School has a wolf man. He can sprint 100 meters in under 9 seconds. We're definitely going to get crushed. Zishen quickly stepped forward to volunteer. Coach, I want to go first. Guo and the others looked at him in shock and asked cautiously, Are you really sure about that? All right then, in a moment you'll go first, Zishen. Behind him, Qing Han and Guo excitedly shouted their encouragement. We're counting on you, little Shen. I believe in you, little Shen. Go, get him. As the words were spoken, his opponent stomped hard on the stage as a show of force. He stood with hands on his hips in front of Zishen, looking down on him. The boy who lives in the mountains. I've already seen your info on the roster. You're just in junior high, and yet you're already standing in the ring of the 8-School Alliance tournament. Not bad. You've got a lot of talent. Big Mouth tilted his head and sneered. But this is no place for you. A first-year junior high kid who isn't even 1.7 meters tall. In a moment, I'll show you the difference in our size and power. The referee blew his whistle and shouted the command, Fight begin. The moment he finished, Big Mouth lunged forward. He rushed forward with a clenched fist, throwing a punch that Zishen quickly dodged. This left Big Mouth completely bewildered. What, without a single wasted motion, Zishen placed a hand before his opponent's chest. He immediately unleashed a palm strike that sent Big Mouth flying into the distance. Spitting out mouthfuls of blood, the terrified referee stuttered out the announcement. Zai is victorious. From the sidelines, Qing Han cheered enthusiastically. Little Shen, you're so incredible. The other martial arts students cheered with even more vigor. Zishen is the goat. But from below the stage, the sound of an argument suddenly erupted. Stiff muscles. Those are definitely stiff muscles with no flexibility at all. Coach Chen Feng's annoyed shouting drew everyone's attention. It's your footwork. Your footwork. How many times have I told you, in the ring, you can't just blindly charge forward. You have to use your movement techniques. Why don't you ever listen to me? The attribute system panel appeared. You have successfully defeated one opponent. Your competition ranking has increased. Total opponents eliminated 2 out of 1,000. Zishen clenched his fist, feeling incredibly proud of himself. Just as I thought, defeating an opponent in a high-stakes competitive match increases the progress bar for the achievement quest. After chewing him out, the coach turned and gave an order. Chen Feng, you're up for this match. Go and defeat that arrogant first-year brat, and do it as quickly as possible for me. He nodded grimly. I understand, coach. Then Chen Feng got into a ready stance. The referee once again lowered his hand and shouted the command. Fight begin. Instantly, Chen Feng shot forward like the wind unleashing a kick that grazed past Zishen's face. Unwilling to back down, Zishen ducked to evade the blow. Then he quickly jumped into the opening to land a blow. Tran Fong was sent flying in a spiral with snot painfully spraying from his nose. He crashed to the ground in a humiliating heap as the referee ran over to check on him and gave an order. Get him to the hospital for a checkup immediately. It looks like he hit his head. The audience in the stands was extremely curious and angrily cursed. What is going on? How is that student from Sun Hai High School so damn lucky? Lucky him, his final opponent lost by throwing himself out of the ring. What kind of luck is this? Damn it, it's definitely fixed. Refund our money. Coach Tran Fong was tearing at his hair. No, this isn't luck, kid. That junior high kid from Sun Hai has real skill. He hesitated for a moment, then turned to Tao Fi. For the next match, I'm putting you in. Focus on defense, don't take the offensive, and under no circumstances can you lose. He stepped forward very calmly with both hands in his pockets. Don't worry, coach. I will win. Cao Fi immediately took an attack stance, brimming with confidence. Lin Zishen doesn't have a strong physique. He's just agile and knows how to exploit situations. That's why he was able to win so easily. I can run 100 meters in just 9 seconds and have way more combat experience than him. As long as I take this next match seriously, there's no reason for me to lose. The audience continued their excited chatter. Hearing you guys say that. In that case, I'm afraid that first year from Sun Hai Junior High has no hope left. He's only a first year. Wait until he's older. Sun Hai Junior High will become the #1 school. The referee once again announced in a serious tone, Begin! Immediately, Cao Fi launched himself at his opponent with a sinister grin. He unleashed the water stream rock-smashing fist, attacking relentlessly, but Zishen dodged with incredible ease. The coach on the sidelines shouted in frustration, "Calfee, what are you doing? I told you to focus on defense. Why are you attacking?" Hearing this, Calfee didn't respond, becoming even more confident in his own judgment. Defense. As a genius, I have no need for that. Zishin, however, began to observe more closely. This fighting style is quite interesting. First, I'll observe and learn it. He's starting to tire and showing signs of running out of energy. But why can't I land a single hit on him? How can you dodge my attacks? This is completely unscientific. Zishin casually stood up straight and asked, "Do you have any other moves? Go on and use all of them." Hearing this made Xiao Fi even angrier, and he started punching wildly. "You're brazenly mocking me," Zishin commented indifferently before launching the decisive blow. "It's still the same old fighting style. In that case, let's just end this." The audience was dumbfounded and speechless, not daring to utter a single criticism. Guo and Qing Han happily raised their hands high in celebration. "Great job, Xiao Shen. You're so strong." The martial arts team members also laughed and cheered. Xiao Shen is a beast. He took down 3 people in no time. This feeling of winning without doing anything is amazing. After that, the next opponent was even weaker than the last. Before long, Zishin had finished off all 5 people from Sun High #1 Junior High within the next 2 days. You single-handedly defeated the remaining 2 schools, successfully leading Sun High Junior High to victory in the 8-school joint tournament. The system panel displays the summary. Total opponents eliminated 16 out of 1,000. Death looked up seriously, calculating his plan. There were still 984 opponents left to defeat. It would probably take many years. Only then would the natural selection be complete. Although the mission couldn't be completed in a short time, Death was surprised when Teacher Quach gave him the majority of the prize money from this competition. It was exactly 20,000, and including the prize money Death had won from various academic competitions, he now had about 30,000 yuan. But this 30,000 yuan was quickly spent by Death. Yuan Xin happily reminded her son Little Shen, "Eat slowly. There's still more." The system panel showed Shadow Ghost Squid Tome activation progress 33%. As he chewed voraciously, he noted that eating 30 kilograms of Shadow Ghost squid meat had caused the tome's activation progress to increase directly to 33%. In his second year of junior high, Death successfully broke through from the 3rd stage to the 4th stage of the common rank and could now easily lift 1,090 kilograms with one hand. He could jump 5.65 meters vertically and sprint 100 meters in just 4.49 seconds. Time flew by, and he and Shen Qinghan graduated from Sun High Junior High. At that moment, she looked down sadly at the paper. "Why I tried so hard, but the result is still..." "Little Shen, can we still go to the same high school?" Soon, the high school entrance exam results were out. Death ranked 1st in the district in both academics and martial arts. Qinghan's academic scores weren't bad at all, but her martial arts score wasn't high enough to get into the elite martial arts class at Sun High High School. He quickly walked over to comfort her and wipe away her tears. "I don't know, but the principal of Sun High High said she wants to visit my house. Do you want to come with me to meet her?" Sobbing Qinghan said resentfully, "The principal must be coming here to invite you to stay in the top martial arts class at Sun High High. This has nothing to do with me, so why should I go?" Death grabbed her hand and casually declared, "Don't worry. The only condition for me to stay at Sun High High is that I have to be your desk mate." Afterward, the principal of Sun High High School discussed with Death at his home for several hours, simply expressing her hope that he would continue to study at the school. Sun High High School. Before leaving, she turned around for a final reminder. "Student Death, we've pretty much said it all. I've said what needed to be said. One last thing, as long as you agree to continue studying at Sun High High, you can tell me anything you desire." Death quickly pointed towards his friend. "Thank you, Principal. I only have one request, which is that I hope Shen Qinghan can continue to be in the same class as me." The principal immediately walked closer to observe her carefully. "Student Shen Qinghan, is that right? When the new school year begins, you two should come to Sun High High School to register together." Death and Qinghan happily replied in unison, "Thank you, Principal." After choosing his high school, he participated in the final martial arts competition of junior high. Unsurprisingly, Death once again helped Sun High Junior High win the championship with ease. After receiving the prize money, He decided to fulfill his previous wish. There's only 20% left to unlock the Shadow Ghost Squid Tome. This prize money should definitely be enough to buy the meat needed to complete the progress, because he didn't know what would happen when he unlocked the tome or what uncontrollable situations might arise. And he deliberately went to the mountainous forest area surrounding Sun High City. Death channeled his internal energy, summoning his power. This can't be delayed. Let's begin directly. The system announced a large amount of Shadow Ghost Squid has been devoured. The attribute panel updated Shadow Ghost Squid Tome 100%. This left him stunned for a few seconds. Then another system panel appeared. You have successfully unlocked the Ink Ghost Shadow Diagram and obtained the biological attribute Water Affinity Blessing, greatly enhancing your affinity for water. The end of the acquisition process left him a bit disappointed. Why does the effect of this Water Affinity Blessing seem a little useless? I have to test it out at the nearby pond right away. I noticed my skin doesn't wrinkle after being in the water for a long time, and I can clearly feel that the water's resistance has decreased a lot while swimming. But other than that, are there no other effects? But I guess that's normal. A ghost shadow is a low-level monster, not even worth fusing its genes at all. If I want better and more substantial biological attributes, I can just save up money and buy them later. Sooner or later, I'll get them all. Or when I become stronger, I can hunt mutated beasts and eat them like the mutated giant rat. At this thought, Zichen clenched his fists in determination. With less than 1 week before the new school year, his mother and Shen Qinghan's family planned a trip for the two families together so he could better study the Water Affinity Blessing. So Zichen had suggested going to the beach. Qinghan worriedly hugged herself. "Oh, Chen, the seawater is so cold." Zichen quickly swam off, but didn't forget to remind her, it's always like that, the first time you get in the water. Just take your time getting used to it, and then you won't feel cold anymore. A notification then appeared. You are swimming. Qi and blood +1. Full body muscle strength +1. Full body muscle coordination +1. Water affinity +1. Swimming skill +1. Qinghan was still whining as she stood in place. Chen, stop swimming by yourself and come teach me how to swim. He suddenly remembered and quickly stopped swimming. That's right. It seems Qinghan still doesn't know how to swim. So Zichen patiently began to teach her, but because of Shen Qinghan's athletic aptitude was only average, so he thought it would be very difficult for her to learn. But Zichen didn't expect to be proven wrong so quickly. Afterwards, Qinghan powerfully stretched her arms and tried to swim. Chen. It turns out swimming is this simple. I learned how to swim in just a moment. She then tried putting her face deeper into the water. I can even dive. Then Qinghan resurfaced confidently, leaving Zichen stunned. Chen, aren't I amazing? I've always heard people say it's hard to open your eyes underwater because it stings and hurts, but I don't feel any discomfort at all. It even feels cool and comfortable. From a distance, Zichen stroked his chin and watched. Even if Shen Qinghan's water attribute is really good, she couldn't possibly learn all the skills of swimming all at once. This is too abnormal. He quickly recalled the past. Wait, could the reason Shen Qinghan used to wet the bed all the time be because she was born with a natural water attribute? That's unbelievable. Maybe in a past life, Shen Qinghan had a special cultivation physique like in those Xiangxia novels. Next, Zichen went diving with Shen Qinghan, and her performance shocked him even more. They had been underwater for over 10 minutes. Not to mention, she was a beginner. Even a trained person couldn't easily stay underwater for that long. Suddenly, Qinghan was attracted by a strange noise. She quickly glanced toward the source of the strange sound in the water. The two of them then immediately swam away from that spot. What on earth was that noise? Zichen and Qinghan surfaced at the same time. He turned to ask her, what happened? Why are you suddenly so tense? Qinghan hugged herself tightly and honestly told him what had just happened. I suddenly heard a very strange sound in my ears, so strange it was a little scary. Zichen moved closer and hugged her. What kind of sound? Qinghan calmly recalled, I don't understand. Maybe it was a language I did not recognize. I just knew it was a woman's voice. The sound was so real, and it kept echoing in my ears until I surfaced from the water. To help Shen Qinghan calm down as quickly as possible, he immediately took her back to the hotel. Then Thanatos used his phone, but could not find any information about what on earth Shen Qinghan was talking about, but he could not sleep because of it. So he decided to continue exercising. The system panel quickly appeared. You have completed 1,000 weighted sit-ups unexpectedly while training. Thanatos actually made a breakthrough. He clenched his fists, thinking deeply. Common rank stage 5. This is a level that can compete with an adult giant mutated rat. It seems that if I continue to train, then tearing this mutated rat apart with my bare hands will not be impossible. After breaking through, he went to a deserted beach to test various data points. Thanatos' 100-meter sprint time was down to just 3.64 seconds, and his vertical jump could reach 6.98 meters. He could lift a car weighing about 1,600 kilograms. With one hand compared to when he first broke through to the common rank, the numerical improvement was very significant with this achievement. Finally, Thanatos began his high school career immediately. 2 classmates came over to greet him. "Are you classmate Thanatos? You are so handsome." So Thanatos is on duty with us today. What a coincidence. He and Ching Han came to class early because they were on duty, but he did not expect to already know this new classmate. But what surprised Thanatos was, this cleanup duty actually triggered a new mission achievement, complete 1,000 cooperative missions. He also did not know what this herd animal trait was, what its specific effect would be. It was really something to look forward to since the new school year had just begun and there was not much to do. Thanatos took advantage of his free time to go shopping at the supermarket after all the Shadow Demon Squid had already been unlocked. And the next step was to identify a new target. Thanatos was quickly drawn to an object in the distance. He looked at the item named Great Eagle with great surprise. This was it. Thanatos' face was ecstatic amidst a starry night sky over a forest. A strange bird was soaring. That was the Tyrant Eagle. It was a type of mutated beast, a bit higher level than the Shadow Demon Squid. Its eyesight was extremely good, 30 times better than that of a normal person. It was truly powerful. Therefore, its hunting ability was also very strong. It could even accurately catch a mutated rabbit that was about to become just an afterimage. At that moment, Thanatos stared intently at the leg of the tyrant eagle that he had bought. He thought to himself, if my vision is good enough, it can significantly improve a person's combat effectiveness. In short, according to the description, this tyrant eagle's totem is absolutely worth unlocking. The main reason is that the tyrant eagle meat is cheap at only 1,998 yuan a pound without another word. He decisively picked up the leg and used his estimation ability. The system showed that 1 pound of meat could increase the totem's unlocking progress by 1%. Then Thanatos calculated in his head. 1 pound of meat can increase the totem's unlocking progress by 1%. This means it will take over 200,000 yuan to unlock the Tyrant Eagle's totem, he thought, clenching his fists with bitter tears in his eyes. It seems I will have to work harder in high school competitions to earn money. The prize money for high school martial arts competitions is much higher than in middle school. He told himself, I must do it before my second year. I must unlock this Tyrant Eagle's totem. The summer vacation has ended, and so I have finally entered my high school life. On a beautiful morning at Shanghai High School, on the first day of the new semester, the teachers began to introduce themselves to the class, one by one. Hello everyone, I am Han Yuanfeng, the teacher for the martial arts cultivation class and also your homeroom teacher. Hello everyone, I am Kai Yuanfei, the teacher for the mechanical modification class. Hello students, I am Liu Darren, the teacher for the gene fusion course. Hello students, I am Cheng Pei, a teacher for the survival course. In the wilderness, after the teachers finished introducing themselves. Now let's have each student introduce themselves, one by one, shall we? As soon as the teachers finished speaking, a girl with purple hair smiled brightly to break the ice. Hello everyone, my name is Chu Yuchi. My specialties are the 4 traditional arts. Another girl with pink hair quickly introduced herself. My name is Zhong Yijia. I like watching anime cosplay and sports. And then a boy with blue hair spoke up clearly. He shouted, my name is Peng Huoguang, and when I have nothing to do, I like to stay home and play games. Soon enough, it was Shen Qinghan's turn to introduce herself. Being stared at by so many people like this, Shen Qinghan felt very nervous. She shyly and awkwardly blurted out, hello everyone, my name is Shen Qinghan. I usually like to draw in color and also... Then she swallowed softly and continued, I hope for everyone's guidance in the future. Right after her Zishin also stood up to present. He thought, my self-introduction is probably the shortest in the class. Unbeatably so. Hello everyone, my name is Lin Zishin. I hope for everyone's guidance in the future. Time passed very quickly after everyone finished their introductions. Then the bell for the end of class rang. Suddenly, a voice called out, catching Ching-han's attention. Ching-han, what score did you get on the high school entrance exam? She looked towards where the voice came from. Ching-han awkwardly replied to Chu-sin, I got 709 points. And you, Chu-sin, hearing that Chu-sin exclaimed, amazing, you scored 10 points higher than me. I only got 698 points. So what did you get on the physical fitness test? I did really poorly on my test, only managing to get 95 points. That's extremely terrible. Hearing those words, Ching-han thought worriedly, the total score for the physical fitness test is 100 points. To be able to get 95 points, she must be a top student among top students. She replied to the girl, I didn't do as well as you. She then thought, I only got 79 points. My physical fitness test was 11 points below the standard to get into this honors class. I can't possibly say this score out loud. However, Chu-sin wouldn't give up. She continued to probe with an interested tone. So what is your score? 94 or 93 points? Ching-han lowered her head and mumbled. Still a bit lower. Chu-sin moved closer, pressing on. Is it 92 points or 91 points or 90 points? Suddenly a hand slammed down on the desk, making Chu-sin jump a little. She turned in shock to see Zishin, who had approached her at some point. He asked, Can I add you on WeChat? She answered shyly, Oh, adding on. WeChat is fine. Okay, let me scan you, she said, blushing as she thought. This handsome guy is actually adding me on WeChat first. What kind of divine luck am I having today? Ching-han saw that Zishin had just saved her. She was touched and thought, thank goodness Zishin came to my rescue. If she had kept asking, I wouldn't have known how to answer anymore. It was so embarrassing. Zishin also very naturally approached the other classmates. He cheerfully said, Hey you, let's add each other on WeChat too. Hiyu enthusiastically held up his phone and replied, You can scan me. After adding friends, Zishin created a group chat with 4 people, but surprisingly, he completed another multiplayer cooperative mission. The system displayed a congratulatory message. You have successfully created a 4-person group meeting, the criteria for completing a multiplayer cooperative mission. Zishin thought to himself, all I can say is this mission was completed effortlessly. After creating the 4-person group, they got to know each other. Yu is from the neighboring Nangguan city. His ancestors have run a martial arts dojo for generations. He is a young master from a martial arts family. Yu also won 8th place in the Nangguan City Youth Martial Arts Tournament, which is considered bringing honor to his ancestors. As for Li Chuxin's family, they own a clothing store, and they have many branches in the district. She is a true little rich miss. And Shen Qinghan and I also told everyone about our own circumstances. Soon the 4 of us had become a small group where we could talk about anything. And just as the 4 of them were wrapping up their conversation, Ha Vu brought up an interesting topic. He said in a loud voice, Guess who is the strongest person in our class? You'll definitely never guess then. So Tam suddenly stated her opinion. I guess Tu-thon is the best. He was the one who got the highest score on our district's high school entrance exam. Havu's eyes widened as he shouted in amazement. Holy crap. Tu-than, so you're that awesome, huh? But the district's top scorer is probably far from the best. You guys might not believe this, but our class has 2 very strong people. The principal spent a lot of money to recruit them from Namquan City. The guy sitting by the window in the 3rd row on the left, his name is Vuong Tukiet. He was the one with the highest score on the Namquan City High School entrance exam, and his 100-meter dash time is 7.98 seconds. Besides him, there's the big guy named Luke Kwong, sitting on the right side in the last row. This guy has godlike strength from birth and can easily lift a 300-kilogram weight with just one hand. Hearing that, Than Ham acknowledged that it seemed quite formidable. So Tam was stunned and exclaimed, Oh my god, is that for real? Meanwhile, Tu-thon secretly breathed a sigh of relief, thinking to himself, hearing this makes me feel more at ease. A 100-meter dash in 7.98 seconds and a 300-kilogram weight. Both of these figures are merely at my elementary school level. Very quickly the bell rang again, and the next activity was distributing textbooks. There were 4 books corresponding to the 4 main courses titled The Practice of Martial Arts, The Practice of Gene Fusion, The Practice of Mechanical Modification, and finally The Practice of Wilderness Survival 2. Then thought to himself, since I've already self-studied all 4 books as a child, I'll just find a secluded place to practice. In my spare time, after all, the threat from the divine rat cult is still out there. For now, the police have only managed to capture the heretics, but they still haven't found any trace of the Rat King, therefore. I must try my best to advance past the 6th stage so that if I encounter the mutant rats, I can confront them. The first practical class in the afternoon was survival class. In the wilderness environment, Trin Boy stood in the center. He pointed at several wooden sticks lying on the ground surrounded by students who were observing. He asked in a loud voice, "Does anyone know how to make fire by rubbing 2 wooden sticks together?" Havu stammered in response. This skill is basically not used in daily life, so who would have the time to learn it? However, as soon as he finished speaking, the 2 supposedly strongest people, Thu Kiet and Luke Kwong, quickly sat down and rubbed 2 wooden sticks together to create a fire. This made his face turn pale as he shouted in shock. What the Trin Boy who was standing nearby smiled brightly and said, "What is this? How are you 2 so formidable? So you can make fire just by rubbing 2 wooden sticks together, huh?" Luke Kwong confidently replied to him, "Sir, when I was in middle school, I took an extracurricular course during summer vacation to learn this subject." And Thu Kiet replied confidently, "As for me, I learned it online by myself when I was in elementary school. After the 2 from Nam Quan City finished, the others began to practice on their own." Soon after, Tu Thon also taught the members of Team Dawn how to make fire by rubbing wood together. A moment later, at the physical education field, Vian Fong began to speak. "Today, I will teach you all a special breathing cultivation method." After that, the martial arts class also became a party for the 2 from Nam Quan City to show off. Thu Kiet and Luke Kwong shouted in unison, "Sir, we've already learned this." Although it seemed a bit ridiculous, they actually managed to do it. Although I already knew this knowledge. But it's my habit to always stay humble in a flash. More than a month had passed. The homeroom teacher, Nguyen Phi, stood in front of the class and announced that it has been over a month since the school year began, and it's time to check on your learning progress. He gently adjusted his glasses and gave instructions for this exam. I have set the prize level's first place is 888 UN in cash. Second place is 666 UN in cash, and third place is 333 UN in cash. Tuthan mused, so there are even prizes, and the top scorer will get 888 UN. This prize is really generous. You could almost buy half a pound of violent giant eagle meat with that. With a prize on the line, everyone naturally put more effort into the test. Over 1 hour later, the test ended. Duke Nyan held the test papers and announced to the class that it has been over a month since the school year started, and it's time to check your academic progress. Coincidentally, the gene fusion teacher Duke Nan also held a test, and even the prizes were identical. After taking 2 tests in a row, Havu had practically fainted on his desk, his soul leaving his body as he dazedly uttered, "It's finally over." A classmate started to complain. Man, why was the test so hard? It even asked for the energy wavelength of a laser spell. Who the hell can remember that? And what's the point of remembering it anyway? The surrounding classmates all agreed. That's right. This test was hard as hell. The last question was also absurd, asking about the relationship between anti-airflow equipment and atmospheric pressure, and it even required us to calculate specific values. Separately, for fuck's sake, how are you supposed to calculate with so many decimal places? Another student tiredly cried out, I was originally hoping for 90 points, but this time I'll be happy just to get 60. Just as everyone was complaining about the difficulty of the questions, the duo from Southgate City started bragging to each other. Thu Kiet, standing by the window, asked Luke Kuong. That test was indeed quite difficult. How did you do? He smiled and replied, I think I can probably get 95 points. I only had trouble with the very last question. What about you? The other guy replied. Me too. I also didn't know the answer to the last question, so I'm guessing I'll only get 95 points. Those words reached Havu's ears, causing his face to darken. He thought, damn it, They're bragging again. Will they die if they don't show off? I really want to punch them both. Sometime later, Duke Nan held the test results and announced to the class, everyone, the scores for the mechanical improvement test are in. He began to read out each person's score. Quach DM 5.12. Tham Than Ham 61 points. Than Ha, overjoyed, turned and whispered to Tuthan Xiaoshen, I passed. Hard work pays off. You deserve it. Duke Nian continued, Ha Vu 88 points. The other students heard this and all turned to praise him. Ha Vu, you're amazing. Duke Nian also offered his praise. An excellent paper. I'm very optimistic about you, as if gaining a boost of confidence. Ha Vu said, just lucky, just lucky. The test happened to cover topics I knew. To my team members, wait until I get the 333 UN prize for third place and I'll treat everyone to a good meal. Right after that, Duke Nan smiled brightly and announced the results of two others. Luke Kwong, 95 points. Thu Kiet, 95 points. You two are also very impressive. You were just one question away from a perfect score. Thu Kiet crossed his arms and declared loudly, Sir, the last question required a lot of calculation. If you had just given me another 10 minutes, I'm sure I could have solved it. Luke Kung also chimed in. Me too, Duke Nyan said proudly. I believe both of you have that ability. Havu glanced over at the other two. He cursed inwardly, damn it, they're showing off again. But no matter what, third place will still be mine. Suddenly, at this very moment, Duke Nan spoke up. This test was very difficult. You might not believe it when I say this, but someone in our class achieved a perfect score. Lin Zishen, 100 points. Both Shuji and Lu Gong stared wide-eyed and shouted 100 points. He actually got a full 100 points. What on earth kind of test was this? It's absurd, completely absurd. At that moment, Lin Zishen was like an angel descended to earth, a halo of light shining down on him, making even Ha Vu sitting beside him admire him. Even the two top students of Nanguan City were also defeated. Lin Zishen is just too strong. The main thing is he even took my third place. Next time, I definitely can't be so complacent. Qing Han, sitting in front, turned around and said, Zishen, you're amazing. Chusin also added, you're shining so bright. Zishen didn't hesitate to raise his hand and ask, Duke Nan, oh right, teacher. When will the first prize worth 888 UN be awarded? He answered in a serious voice. Don't worry, I will put the cash into a red envelope and send the prize to the class group chat. After saying that, he silently sized up Zishen. This kid cares about money too, huh? Is he that short on cash? Just over 1 hour later, the results for the gene fusion test were also announced. It was Yuan Fei's turn to announce the results of the last test, everyone. The final results for the gene fusion test are in. The twin heroes of Nan Guan Lu Gang scored 81 points. Wang Shujai scored 83 points for a test that most students failed. To barely achieve an excellent score is already very impressive. But it was clear the two of them couldn't hide their dissatisfaction with these results. As for Shen Qinghan, she scored 78 points. With this score, she could land in the top 5. And Zishen, he got a perfect score as always and continued to pocket the prize money. Havu Wang Shuji and Lu Gong suffered no small blow. Shujai, with a very serious expression, raised his hand to question Yuan Fei. That test was so difficult. How could anyone possibly get a perfect score? Lu Gong, not to be outdone, also raised his hand and reported, I have a feeling he might have known the answers in advance. Yunfei fell silent, then refuted impossible. Absolutely not. He explained to the two of them that all the questions on this test were ones he came up with himself, so the answers simply can't be found on the internet. So it's impossible to cheat. This came as a mental shock to Shuji and Lu Gong. The two of them just stared blankly and yelled, Huh! This whole thing. Havu, sitting nearby, felt like he was watching a show. He turned and secretly laughed with Chu Xin, saying, This is just hilarious. If you can't do it, you just can't do it. They refuse to admit defeat and even suspect others of cheating. What a disgrace to us people from Nanguan. Chu Xin also chimed in, That's right, Wang Shujai is so uncivilized. Bad people are always causing trouble. A few minutes later, the very short lunch break began. Class 1 of Grade 1 will have a wilderness survival test. This afternoon, Cheng Bei announced the rules to the students. The prizes for the wilderness survival test are the same as the other subjects. First prize is 888 UN in cash. Second prize is 666 yuan in cash, and third prize is 333 yuan in cash. The test includes 3 main sections: mountain climbing, plus tree climbing, swimming, and making fire by rubbing sticks together. After hearing the announcement, Thu Kiet turned and whispered to Luke Kwong, "Luke Kwong this morning. The two of us couldn't beat him in the 2 tests." That was the theory part, so this afternoon, during the survival and martial arts training, we have to save face. Luke Kung showed his determination. He said, "You don't have to tell me. I will definitely defeat him to avenge our earlier humiliation." Soon the test began. The first test was tree climbing and mountain climbing. The score was determined by climbing speed. Lam Tu Than won first place in mountain climbing, to the shock of the other two. Just as I predicted, the Nangguan twin heroes have been left behind me. Those 2 guys could only bitterly think to themselves, "No way. This Lam Tu Than guy is way too over the top." I already gave it my all, though. Damn it, I can't even see his shadow. Just then a voice rang out announcing the results. Lam Tu Than has won first place in the tree climbing competition. However, in his heart, Tu Than was restless and worried for Than Ham. He thought, "But right now, I'm more concerned about Tam. Than Ham, she hasn't even finished climbing yet." So it's no surprise that she came in last, but it's not a big deal. The swimming event is next. Than Ham will surely regain her confidence in the next event, firemaking. I'll have to keep fighting the Nangguan duo for the prize. The twin heroes. Those 2 guys could only grit their teeth in frustration. Why is Lam Tu Than so fast at everything? His hand speed is simply heaven-defying. I clearly remember he wasn't this fast. In the firemaking class, that is. Lam Tu Than has successfully started a fire. Time 58 seconds swimming was the final event, and this time Tam Than Ham also crushed the Nangguan twin heroes duo, which probably dealt a heavy blow to their morale. Thu Kiet and Luke Kwong once again had to swallow their bitter defeat. This can't be happening. I can still understand Lam Tu Than being that fast. But why did Tam Than Ham suddenly have such a burst of speed? Impossible. It must be because I'm so stressed that I'm hallucinating. After the wilderness survival test, Vuong, Thu Kiet, and Luke Kwong became very quiet for a long time, not saying a word. But in return, the afternoon was quiet in the gym. Vian Fong shouted, "You all have been practicing martial arts for over 1 month. Today is the day to test the results of your training. As for the test, everyone will get on the stage and spar. There will be prizes for the top 3. Everyone do your best." Got it. Because the afternoon martial arts session had rekindled their hopes, fueling their fighting spirit, Luke Kwong and Thu Kiet were fired up, their ambition on full display. So what about the written test and wilderness survival skills? In a martial arts class, the most important word is martial, which means physical fitness and technique. In martial arts, if your actual combat strength is lacking, then all other achievements are meaningless. In this sparring match, I must reclaim the first place position I lost. Before starting the sparring, Han Vian Fong arranged a physical fitness test for everyone in the class as a warm-up exercise. He instructed the warm-up test will measure 3 data points in order: your speed in a 100-meter sprint and the weight of a barbell you can lift with one hand, and Lin Zishan's stats. A 100-meter sprint in 7.78 seconds, a lift of 330 kilograms, and a standing high jump of 2.18 meters. All 3 of my results were number 1, and that was me holding back so I wouldn't be too flashy. So I didn't go all out, which is why my stats were only a little better than the ones Wang Shujie and Lu Gang got. Those 2 guys watched him practically frozen in place, thinking he runs the 100 meters even faster than me, and yet his high school graduation exam score was only the top in the district. This is completely unscientific. His physical strength is even greater than mine. Lin Zishan doesn't even look that built. Could it be his body wasn't fully developed back when he took the high school entrance exam? Shuji turned to comfort Lu Gang. "Lu Gang, don't panic. Failing the physical test doesn't mean it's all over. Real combat relies on martial arts techniques, not just physical strength. We still have a chance." Lu Gang patted his shoulder and replied, "You're right. Losing the physical test doesn't mean losing everything. Our martial arts skills are superior, far superior to our peers, so we still have a chance." After the physical fitness test, everyone moved to the arena and began to spar. In the competition area, Zishen considered to complete the natural selection achievement as much as possible. I still need to take the lead in the ring, but my physical test results were too good. so no one dares to step up, not even the Nangguan twin heroes this time. They're not rushing to make a move, choosing to observe first. But if this keeps getting delayed, the teacher will definitely lose patience. Yuan Feng called a student up. Lu Wei, get up here and spar with Zishan. The two got into their fighting stances. Zishan sent his classmate flying with a single blow. To save time, I have no choice but to end this quickly. Just like that, he took them down one by one. To get through everyone in class before the bell, I had to speed up and take down all 10 opponents. Shuji stared blankly, thinking in a panic. No way. Is this Lin Zishan guy really that strong? Even Lu Gong, standing next to him, was frozen stiff. The water from the cup in his hand spilled onto his shirt without him even noticing. I suspect this guy didn't even go all out in the physical test. At this rate, he's in a whole other league. At that exact moment, Hiyu confidently leaped up, shouting a challenge to Lu Gang. I'm all warmed up now. I'm in peak physical condition right now. Do you dare to get up here and fight me? Lu Gang confidently leaped into the ring. He declared boldly, half a minute is all I need. It'll only take me 30 seconds to knock you out, he thought to himself. If this guy hadn't challenged me, I would have had to fight Lin Zishan, and I'm not sure I could beat him. But there's no way I can't guarantee a victory against you, right? Without a moment's hesitation, Hiyu charged forward, yelling, Here I come. In an instant, he unleashed a flurry of attacks on Lu Gang, who stood his ground. Suddenly, with incredible strength, Lu Gang caught. He used leg and spun him in the air several times. Then he threw Heiyu out of the ring. The hard landing combined with being spun around made Heiyu vomit violently. Lu Gang gave a mocking smirk and told Heiyu, Out of everyone I've fought, your physical strength is the best. In terms of raw power, I'm willing to call you the strongest in the class. It's just a shame my technique is still a level above yours. Just then, Zishan also leaped into the ring and issued a challenge. Let's go. Let's have a match. This is the perfect chance to make some progress, otherwise no one else will dare to step up. Lu Gang hesitated, then said, Fine, bring it on. Who's afraid of who? Take this. In the blink of an eye, Lu Gang unleashed a series of lightning-fast moves straight at Lin Zishan. But Zishan calmly dodged him. Lu Gang thought in alarm, damn, he's so fast. And just like that, with a single punch, he sent Luke Kuong flying out of the ring. All the other students in the stands roared, Vuong Thukiet, your brother Luke Kuong is being humiliated like this. What are you waiting for? Go get revenge. That's right. The glory of Nam, Quan City's top students, needs you to protect it. Vuong Thukiet, don't be a coward. Get up there. At that, Thukiet leaped into the ring to directly confront Tuthan. What are you all shouting and complaining about? I was about to get in the ring anyway. All of you shut up. At that moment, Tuthan stood like a giant statue. He told himself, what's coming will come. I will definitely find a way to defeat him, without a moment's hesitation. Thukiet leaped forward, gritting his teeth and pouring all his strength into a punch aimed straight at the charging Tuthan. It was a gamble, but Tuthan's power was unparalleled. With just one hand, he easily caught the punch. His other hand clenched into a fist and shot forward. A single punch from Tuthan to Thukiet's face sent him reeling back, knocking him out cold onto the floor in an instant. Foaming at the mouth, his face deathly pale. Afterwards, Tuthan took down the other male students in the class one by one, some with just a light tap on the back of their necks. They collapsed instantly. And just like that, one by one, they all lay defeated on the floor, unable to fight him. According to the rules of the natural selection mission, each opponent only counts one time. No matter how many times they are defeated. That means from now on I can only spar with the female students. But they probably wouldn't want to. Tuthan looked down at the female students who were staring at him with blushing faces. Were they imagining sparring with him on stage? Suddenly, Vu Hi raised her hand. Student Tuthan, I want to challenge you. She then quickly somersaulted onto the stage. With godlike speed, Tuthan appeared at her side and tapped her lightly on the back. He silently noted, she's quite fast. So Vu Hai thought with regret, what a shame I was so close to hugging him. Then to my surprise, the other female students also started coming up to challenge me. Of course, I always hold back against girls mainly to complete the mission as quickly as possible. Soon, I was done with all the female students, but I was still far from completing the mission. I was starting to feel disappointed, but then Han Vianfong unexpectedly announced some good news. Everyone's performance was good this time. Moving on. Those of you at the top should learn to challenge upwards. In 1 month, our class will challenge the strongest regular class of the second-year high school students, so everyone prepare yourselves. Our goal is to defeat the strongest regular class of the second-year high school students. Hearing this, a smile finally appeared on Tuthan's face. I was just feeling bummed that I wouldn't have any more matches. This tournament is the perfect chance to speed up my natural selection progress. What a godsend, Vien Fong shouted. Class dismissed Luke Kwong, then walked over to Tuthan. He muttered, I was worried that after coming to Sun Hai High School, I wouldn't have any rivals. It seems I underestimated this place. From now on, you will be my Luke Kwong's rival for the 3 years of high school. Meanwhile, Lam Tutun, however, didn't hear him preoccupied with his own calculations. According to Han Vien Fong's arrangement completing the natural selection within 1 year. It doesn't seem impossible after all. Just then, Thu Kiet came forward and vowed Lam Tuthan losing now doesn't mean I'll lose in the future before we graduate. I will definitely settle this score. But Tuthan was still lost in his thoughts. Plus, I completed a mission and even got a cash reward. Sweet. Let's see. I made over 3,000 today. Seeing him just indifferently walk away, the other two grumbled in unison. He's not only ignoring us, but he's also mocking us. So arrogant. However, Tuthan paid them no mind, clenching his fist and thinking gleefully that with this money, he could finally buy some beast meat. How wonderful! By evening, the entire city was now illuminated by the lights from its buildings. In his bedroom, Tuthan was typing on his keyboard while pondering. Although I got a small bonus today, it's still a far cry from the amount I need to buy beast meat. And unlock the diagram. So to earn more money, I've opened a novel account and started my own writing career. Suddenly, a message popped up for him. Hello, I am an editor for the platform. Your novel is excellent, and I hope we can invite you to sign a contract to serialize it. I had just woken up, and I had already received a contract offer from the website. After logging into the novel platform to sign the contract, a new story for the day immediately caught my attention. It was just 2 hours ago that a giant mutant rat attacked a cold storage facility for mutant beast meat in the suburbs. This giant mutant beast rat was over 5 meters in size, and it bit a cyborg in half. At that moment, the cyborg immediately activated a hidden backup power source and self-destructed to eliminate the enemy, causing the giant mutant beast rat to be blown away. It died on the spot. He wondered just how many giant mutant rats are hiding in Sunhai City. Moreover, these giant mutant beast rats are so large. Where on earth could they possibly hide on the surface without being discovered? The next day at the Sonhai Middle School gym. Today is our sparring day with the regular second-year class, and Han Vien Fong was discussing tactics. With some of our best students, he instructed each one in a one-on-one match. The opponent's top-tier combat power is no match for our class. But in terms of overall strength, they are stronger than our class. The other side will definitely use their numerical advantage to focus on defense and drag out the fight, then use a war of attrition tactic to wear the 4 of you down. Therefore, once you enter the arena, you must aim for a quick and decisive victory. Is that clear? The 4 of them, including Tuthan, Ha Vu Luk Kung, and Thukit, all responded in unison. Yes, sir, understood. In a flash, a student confidently leaped onto the stage. Tuthan declared, Teacher Han, I'll take the first match. He thought to himself, I need to complete the natural selection achievement. I have to defeat as many opponents as possible, so the sooner I get on stage, the better. At this moment, the female student from the second-year class asked in confusion, Sir, he's their strongest fighter, and I'm the weakest in our class. How am I supposed to fight him? The teacher from the second-year class angrily turned to Vien Fong. Fong. According to the rules for interclass sparring, the weakest members are supposed to go first. Why would you send your best student out for the first match? This violates the rules. Hearing this, Vien Fong immediately shouted, Tuthan, get down from there now. You can go up later, so let the weaker students in our class go first. He pouted and replied, Fine, teacher. Then the teacher turned and ordered, Van Dong, you go first. The girl who was called panicked and replied, But teacher, I'm not ready yet. Just then Ham hesitantly stepped forward and said to Vien Fong, Teacher Han, my strength is the weakest, so please let me go first. He immediately agreed to let her go up, As she got into her stance to begin the fight, Thanham thought in a panic, "What do I do? I'm so nervous." Below the stage, So Tam and Havu were constantly cheering for her, "Go ham, 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 get him." Her face paled as she thought, "This is just making me more nervous." Suddenly, the second-year student lunged forward to attack rapidly, throwing a barrage of strikes at Thanham. Meanwhile, Thanham just stood there, raising her hands to defend wearily, thinking that even though she couldn't win, she could at least try her best to hold out as long as possible to drain her opponent's stamina. 3 minutes later, the second-year girl, after throwing a continuous barrage of punches, was also getting tired, thinking to herself, she's really just defending. If this keeps up, my stamina will run out sooner or later. I have to end this with a quick victory. And so she unleashed a powerful blow that sent Thanham flying out of the ring. She landed painfully, her face flushing red with embarrassment. She ran straight towards Vian Fong and Tuthan. Vian Fong comforted her. "Thanham, you fought well. You knew how to use your defense to drain your opponent's stamina. Very smart." Tuthan also patted her head and praised her. "That was pretty good. You lasted more than 3 minutes against a senior who's been training for over 1 year. That's no small improvement." Just then, another student stepped into the ring to fight the second-year student. That girl schemed in her head her stamina is almost gone. "This is my chance to take her down." In the blink of an eye, she spun and threw a kick at the second-year girl, but the senior dodged her attack. Then, without a moment's hesitation, she threw a punch straight into her face. The second-year girl arrogantly mounted the first-year girl, causing her to scream in pain and repeatedly slap her hands on the ring floor. "It hurts." "Let me go. I give up." The second-year girl chuckled and reminded her, "You just got up here and only attacked without defending. Are you looking down on the regular class? True, I'm not as gifted as you, but I've been training for 1 year longer than you, so you should probably train for another year before you fight me." This made the first-year girl grit her teeth in frustration, unable to say a word in rebuttal. So, Tam walked up the steps to the ring, one by one clenched her fists, and shouted loudly, "Ham, ham! Let me get revenge for you. Watch me take that senior down in an instant." So, Tam landed a direct blow on the second-year senior, knocking her flat onto the floor of the ring. Standing below, Thanham cheered endlessly. "So, Tam, you're so awesome." Tuthan, standing beside her, reminded her, "You're awesome too. If it weren't for what happened earlier, with you draining all of the senior's stamina, so Tam wouldn't have won so easily." 2 hours later, the second-year teacher announced, "Fong, your class only has 4 people left. It looks like for this meal, we're definitely going to win the bet." Vian Fong replied, "It's too early to say anything. Let's just wait and see." He thought to himself, "Lam Tu Than, Vuong Tu Kit La Quang, and also Ha Vu. That's the true strength of Class 1. The real showdown is only just beginning." He turned to Havu and said, "Havu, you're up next." Havu confidently leaped into the ring and answered loudly, "Present. My fists have been itching for a fight for a while now. Tell me, senior, are you ready to receive my iron fists?" The second-year senior tilted his head and said mockingly, "Hey there, little guy. Could you try not to be so cringy?" Without hesitation, Havu kicked him right in the face, roaring, "You dare ruin my cool pose. Get lost." It all happened so fast. In the blink of an eye, the second-year senior was already down on the ground outside the ring. Havu stood in the ring and said boldly, "That's it. With this kind of skill level, and you dare to call someone an idiot? What a useless bum." Just then another guy aggressively stepped onto the stage, clenched his fists, and angrily threatened, "You little brat, you're quite arrogant, aren't you? Let me turn up the heat for you." However, the moment he launched his attack, Havu, with his nimble agility, calmly dodged the blow, leaving him stunned. What, so fast? How could he have possibly dodged my attack? And then he delivered a swift kick to the chin of the second-year senior. Hit by Havu's attack, he was quickly knocked out and laid flat on the floor. Standing on the sidelines, Thanham and Sotam cheered with joy. "Havu is so awesome. Go for it. Get him, Havu, crush them all." Next, Havu took down several opponents in a row. With just one punch each, he sent them flying one after another. Some even took a direct punch to the face. He yelled again. Although Havu wanted to continue after knocking down 5 people in a row, he was clearly getting tired. Havu panted as he shouted, Next one, hurry up. I can still take down 10 more people, but finally, when facing his sixth opponent, he was defeated. The first years were down to 3 students, while the second year's class 6 still had 13. Vien Fong immediately ordered in a stern voice, Vuong Tukit, you're up. He charged forward like a wild beast. Answering the call, Vuong Tukit directly attacked with his fists. He consecutively defeated 10 people. It wasn't until his 11th match that Vuong Tukit lost his stamina, completely drained. Next, Luke Kwong stepped onto the stage. In less than 10 minutes, he quickly took down the 2 remaining top fighters. He landed a straight punch to one guy's stomach. The remaining guy was brutally kicked in the face by Luke Kwong. Vien Fong smirked and said to the teacher of the second-year class, your class only has 1 person left. Why don't you just forfeit now? With his hands in his pockets, the man calmly replied, I don't think that's necessary. Go on up, Vuong Kim Ha. It's your turn to put on a show. Kim Ha stood before Luke Kwong like a giant towering mountain. He shouted his response, present. Luke Kung snorted coldly. He got into his fighting stance and said, is that all just some big and tall fat guy? I'll still beat you easily. And then Luke Kwong threw a punch right into the center of Kim Ha's chest. He was immediately stunned. It felt like he was punching a cotton bag. Snapping out of it, he yelled again and unleashed a flurry of punches on Kim Ha's chest. After a moment, Luke Kwong panted and thought to himself, this is no good. His fat layer is too thick, his flesh too dense. I can't even make him budge. Kim Ha sneered. Are you done yet? If you're done, then it's my turn. Luke Kwong quickly found his neck gripped tightly. He thought to himself, this is not good. I'm suffocating. This guy's strength is insane. In the end, he was thrown out of the ring by Kim Ha. Vien Fong was stunned, his face frozen in shock. He turned to the second-year teacher and said, that's not right. I don't recall there being any student. So he's the strong one in your class, huh? He smirked, his tone a bit smug as he said, my apologies. He just transferred here this semester. So it's understandable that you don't remember him. It looks like you're going to lose this time. Don't forget our bet. If I lose, I have to treat the other team's entire class to a meal. At that moment, with tears welling in his eyes, Vien Fong thought in anguish, so he had Wong Kim Ha as his trump card. No matter how strong he is, he can't possibly defeat this monster. I was so careless, he completely tricked me. He walked over to Tuthan, placed a hand on his shoulder, and quietly urged Tuthan, it's your turn now. Get some good experience out there. You'll gain a lot of valuable experience from this. Don't worry about winning or losing. He smiled brightly and replied, don't worry. Teacher Han, I'll win. As soon as Tuthan stepped onto the stage, Kim Ha looked him over and silently sized him up. So this student is their class's best fighter. He seems a little scrawny. He said to the boy, hey Junior, I'm not the type to use my size to bully smaller guys. The female students below immediately jeered. Don't be so arrogant, Fatty. Tuthan will definitely beat you. Fatty, just wait. You're going to get beaten into a meat patty. Go, Tuthan, teach this fat pig a lesson. These words were like rubbing salt into Kim Ha's ego. He laughed and said, hey, Junior, in a moment, I'll stand right here and give you 10 free moves just to avoid problems later. So that you and your fan club won't get angry and curse me behind my back, saying I used my size to bully the weak and won without honor. Tuthan laughed, cursed him under his breath, and replied, fine, fine. Kim Ha slapped his stomach hard and yelled, then bring it on, Junior. I'll stand perfectly still, so you just go ahead and hit me with everything you've got. And just like that, without any hesitation, Tuthan threw a punch with all his might straight into Kim Ha's chest, stunning him. The punch was so powerful it sent him spinning in midair several times before finally landing with a painful thud. All the students and the teacher who witnessed this were stunned. Vien Fong and his classmates roared with joy. Tuthan, he won! He won! Kim Ha, his head still spinning, vaguely mumbled, why am I here? What just happened? This is impossible. It's unscientific. After that, the teacher from the second-year class approached. Vien Fong patted his shoulder and praised Mr. Fong that Tuthan from your class is terrifying. He took down Wong Kim Ha in just one punch. I feel like he's already catching up to Ingo Thien Tua, that first-year high school student. Vien Fong immediately replied, I'm not so sure about that. That kid Ingo Thien Tua is no ordinary person. Back in high school, he nearly scared the principal to death. His performance right now is just too powerful. Tuthan walked over and cut in with a questioning tone. He curiously asked the two teachers, "Who is this Wu Tiancheng?" Yuanfeng happily explained. Wu Tiancheng is a senior who graduated a few years ago. When he was just a first year in high school, he defeated the entire top-tier class, which terrified many of the school leaders. Back in high school, Wu Tiancheng ran the 100-meter dash in under 6.12 seconds, had a vertical leap of 3.96 meters, and could lift a 650-kilogram weight with one hand. Who wouldn't be terrified? Tuthan scratched his head and replied with a wry smile that is a bit intimidating. He then thought to himself, he's actually really strong, almost as strong as I was during the summer of my 6th year of elementary school. That evening at Mingxiang restaurant, Yuanfeng raised a bottle of Coke and enthusiastically shouted, "It is all thanks to Tuthan that we were able to defeat the regular second-year class their homeroom teacher has admitted defeat. And he is treating all of us to this meal. Everyone get on your feet and raise your glasses for a toast to Tuthan." All the classmates cheered joyfully, shouting, "Tuthan, forever, you're the best. Brother then is a beast." And then a line of students formed to ask him, "Brother, then what is your usual workout routine at home? Do you have any secrets?" "Oh, and brother, then I don't think we are friends on WeChat yet. Let us add each other, okay?" After defeating the second-year high school class, I became famous at school. My classmates immediately swarmed me to get acquainted, which made me feel a little awkward. But Han Han was always the same. She was afraid I would be too busy entertaining friends to eat, so she kept putting food in my bowl. Suddenly, Ching Han remembered something. She told him, "Little then I am just going to the restroom for a moment." Tuthan watched intently as Ching Han walked away. Then he thought pensively, but one thing that hasn't changed is her uncontrollable urge to urinate. Just as Ching Han stepped out of the restroom stall, she suddenly overheard the voices of other students. The Ching Han pours drinks for Tuthan and even peels shrimp for him. She is such a suck-up. She acts just like a maid constantly serving her master. They chatted amongst themselves with her level of power if she was not Tuthan's fawning girlfriend. How could she have possibly gotten into our top class? I bet it will not last long anyway. The power gap between them is too huge. They are bound to drift apart sooner or later. Ching Han angrily walked up to them. She hissed, "I am not a suck-up," which startled the two female students. She then added, "I am his childhood sweetheart." Then she turned and walked away. A while later, after the meal, seeing that Ching Han looked down, Tuthan asked with concern, "Han Han, why do you seem so out of it?" "Did something happen?" she answered with a forced smile. "When I was little, my mom always said I would stop wetting the bed when I grew up, but even now, I still wet the bed every single night. I have to wear a diaper every night just to be able to sleep. It feels so awful. Little then. I feel like I am disabled, like someone who cannot even control their own bladder." Hearing that Tuthan decisively refuted her, "You are not disabled," he stepped forward, put his hands on her shoulders, and said, "Your bladder control is your superpower. It is just that this superpower has not fully developed yet, that is all." King Han's eyes widened in awe as she exclaimed, "A superpower?" He replied confidently, "That is right. This is the superpower. Your innate affinity with water is so good, because it is a manifestation of that very superpower." She asked Tuthan curiously, "So little, then you have been this incredible ever since you were little. Does that mean you have a superpower too?" You nodded in agreement, saying, "I was like you, and also had a superpower." As if comforted, yet also lamenting the extra power, Than Ham asked you wonderingly if you really did have a superpower. "I wonder what kind of superpower it would be." Tuthan replied with certainty, "It would definitely be a very powerful one." Suddenly, at that moment, something happened right before his eyes. 3 men were standing nearby. They were persuading another man to put the broom down. "We're exterminating rats for the community's safety. Please cooperate with us." The other man swung his broom wildly, shouting, "Stop! Stop! You can't kill my brothers!" He screamed in despair, "You're killing my brothers again! I'll fight you to the death!" A frightened Than Ham said to Tuthan, "Shen, is that man insane?" He immediately stood in front of her and said, "Perhaps he's mentally ill." She replied in fear, "He looks really terrifying." He took her hand and reminded her, "This is what mentally ill people are like. Let's go. Let's go home. Later that night at Lam Tuthan's house, he and his parents were watching the news. Last week, this young female pastor went missing after leaving her school, and her whereabouts are still unknown. Oyen Han trembled and said, "How can another young woman be missing? I think this is the 4th girl to go missing this month." Ngo Sin replied, "You've misremembered, dear. She's the 5th one, actually. The 5 people who went missing this month were all beautiful young women. It is advised that young women avoid going out at night, and if you must, it's best to go in a group and avoid secluded areas." Oyen Han turned to Tuthan and asked, "Shen, it's not safe outside lately. Don't let Ham go out by herself, all right? Do you understand?" He replied flustered. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll look after her carefully." The next afternoon at the police department on 20th Street, District 20, Sun Hai City, a doctor stepped out of a room inside the station, and a police officer went to ask him some questions. "How did the examination go? Is he a mental patient?" The doctor replied, "It's still undetermined. I've been trying to communicate with him, but he hasn't said a single word, just like a mute person." The police officer added, "He's not mute. He was screaming non-stop at the vegetable market earlier." Suddenly, something caught the officer's eye. He saw the man from the market beginning to transform. He urgently yelled to the doctor, "Quick, request headquarters send a cyborg for backup. The person in the interrogation room is turning into a giant mutant rat." The scene shifts to the whole squad joining forces to shoot it down. The massive, ferocious rat was wreaking havoc. Just then, a female officer rushed over to report. "Chief Headquarters says all the augmented units are already out on missions. It'll take about 10 minutes to send backup. We don't have enough ammo. I'm afraid we can't hold out for backup." Assessing the situation, the chief took his gun and ordered retreat to the car. "Quick, we'll lure this rat man to the outskirts and stall for time until reinforcements arrive." The female officer quickly jumped in the car and slammed the door shut. Abing in the driver's seat hastily shifted gears, and the police car took off at full speed. Fleeing the pursuit of the giant rat, the chief in the passenger seat urged a little faster. Get it to the mountain to buy more time for the mechanically augmented units. The car sped through a tunnel, leaving a long trail of smoke, but the giant rat's speed didn't slow. Just a few seconds later, it smashed through the tunnel and caught up. The police car collided hard with a pile of boulders. The car screeched and flipped over several times. The female officer's body dangled from the overturned car's door, her uniform in tatters. "So in the end, we couldn't wait for them after all, huh?" The giant rat roared fiercely and kicked the vehicle right after a huge explosion went off, catching it in the blast as the mechanized reformer appeared. She unleashed a volley of bullets, locking onto her target and guiding them to detonate on the giant rat's flesh, killing it as her body hovered in the air. Lowering her gaze to survey the scene, she thought the giant rat actually knew how to dig a hole to escape. This bunch seems to have gotten smarter. But looking at the bits of flesh scattered on the ground, it was definitely heavily injured and couldn't have gotten far. I still have a chance to find and kill it. Scene change. 3 a.m, the city is asleep, shrouded in the silent night. Death sat at his desk, moving a wired mouse. He had been writing for over half a month, updating with over 4,000 words each day. He now had nearly 100,000 words, and his income was already over 10,000. The news story still had some exciting parts that hadn't been released yet. Once those parts are out, the numbers will be even better. He wondered how much he could earn after a month. After it goes premium, that is. After checking his novel's stats in the middle of the night, the anticipation of his earnings kept him awake, so Death went to find a small alley with no cameras to test the results of his recent training. A 100-meter sprint in just 3.43 seconds, a long jump of 7.22 meters. The progress was quite clear. During his training, he thought to himself that if he could improve even more, he felt like his body would eventually become godlike. Suddenly, he noticed something nearby. A few meters away, a lone black and red figure appeared. It was a rat person holding another creature in its hands, muttering, "Brother, I'm sorry, brother. Please forgive me, brother. I don't mean to eat you, brother. I'm just really hungry. Once I've had my fill, I'll make offerings to you every year." Death was startled, vaguely guessing a rat person. Could this be the giant mutant rat that escaped the one mentioned in the news today? Has it turned into a rat person? At this thought, he immediately turned, wanting to flee. "I need to get out of here quickly. I have to inform the police." But just then, the rat person spotted him. It dropped the creature in its hands. "Brother, I might not have to eat you after all. I can eat a human instead." As soon as it spoke, the hairy creature leaped in pursuit, chanting, "Flesh! I want to eat flesh! I want to eat human flesh!" Death was somewhat astonished by its abilities. "It's so fast. It seems I can't dodge this." He turned and kicked hard at the rat person, grabbing his leg. "I have no choice but to fight for my life." Caught off guard by the attack, its whole body flew back, stumbling and falling to the ground. By the time it staggered back to its feet, the rat person realized today's prey was a bit tough. This guy is clearly a weak student, so how can he have so much strength? It suddenly noticed Death holding something in his hand, but before it could even wonder what it was, a rock flew over and smacked it on the head. Death continuously picked up rocks from the ground, unleashing a barrage. "I can't give it a chance to fight back. I have to finish it off now and think later." A shower of rocks rained down, riddling the rat person's body with holes. A moment later, Death panted as he looked at the tattered corpse he had created. He wondered doubtfully, is it not moving anymore? Death stepped closer, boldly reaching out to touch the mangled mess of the rat person to check if it was dead. The system panel appeared with a notification that he had absorbed its life essence. As Death God felt the new power, he thought being able to devour its life essence must mean it's completely dead. But only getting 2% is a bit low. Last time, it was clearly 5%. Could it be related to the genetic difference between the Rat King's minions and those heretics? Never mind. After settling everything, he quickly left. His long shadow stretched across the ground. "I should head back first. It's already morning. I can't stay here for long." Almost at the exact moment Death God left, a person slowly appeared. With her hands on her hips, she looked at the rat man's corpse. Who killed this rat man? Scene changed to an abandoned half-built house. Inside, a tall, muscular man dressed head to toe in black was carrying a girl on his shoulder. After placing her in the center of a magic circle, he knelt down respectfully and said, "Lord Rat God, please enjoy your meal." Seeing the offering, the Rat King was displeased and angrily questioned him. "Why is there only one woman? Do you want me to starve to death? This isn't even enough for a snack. Or perhaps you're also one of the sacrifices this time." He prostrated himself in fear, pleading, "I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. Please, Lord Rat God, let me explain." The cultist carefully reported the reason. "My lord, the young women out there are very cautious now. They don't leave their homes at night. And during the day, they travel in groups, making them very difficult to catch." Hearing this, the Rat King's eyes reddened as he ordered, "Then bring me young men next time." He obeyed without question. "I understand, my lord." Suddenly, a piece of fresh raw meat was thrown by the Rat King in front of him. He quickly picked it up and took a greedy bite. "Thank you for your gift, Lord Rat God." At the same time, the Rat King's long tongue wrapped around the girl's body. He opened his wide maw full of sharp teeth. The sound of ravenous chewing echoed through the abandoned house. After finishing his meal, the Rat King reminded him, "Next time, don't catch commoners. They taste bitter and aren't delicious. I want to eat the high and mighty. They are usually well-nourished, so their flesh is fatty and delicious." Scene change. In order to help Than Ham quickly improve her martial arts scores whenever they had time, Death God's group would conduct special training right at her house. He enthusiastically corrected her fighting moves. "The angle of your punch is too high. Lower it a little. This way you can generate more power." Than Ham also studied diligently. "Got it." Death God continued to correct her form. "Your stance is too narrow, widen it a bit." He didn't overlook any mistakes. "Your posture also needs adjusting. Don't face your opponent head-on, turn your body a little." She cooperated diligently. "Okay." After guiding her through the basics, Death God signaled to her. "All right, let's do some sparring. Attack me with all you've got." Thang Ham bent her knees and immediately complied. Oi. "Then here I come." Her first punch was easily caught by him, but it still earned his praise. "Not bad, the angle is perfect, and it's much stronger than before." She then leaned back, gathering momentum for a high kick. "Death." God raised a hand to point out a small mistake. "Your sweeping kick form is wrong. Don't keep your legs so close together before kicking. Widen your stance a bit. Now try it the way I just showed you." Then they tried that move again, and just like that, the two of them dove into their training, one attacking and one acting as a punching bag. After a long while, an exhausted Than Ham finally stopped. She was panting heavily, her whole body drenched in sweat. "I'm so tired, but I can feel that my martial arts have truly gotten stronger." She looked up at him. "I want to increase the intensity, Zhao Shen. I don't think 3 sessions a week is enough. Can we have special training every day?" However, he felt that the current arrangement was just fine. There's no need. 3 times a week is already plenty. Zishin understood she was impatient and advised, "If we did this every day, you wouldn't be able to stand it." Than Ham obediently agreed, "All right, then let's stick to 3 times a week." Suddenly, the phone in his pocket vibrated. She nosily peeked over his shoulder, curious. Is that a special news bulletin? The article stated that the Mecha Group announced on its official website that it would provide free treatment for the young female mechanical genius who was previously physically disabled. Thanks to early mechanical modification, the Capital University genius has successfully fused with the genes of a heavenly silk mutant spider, breaking the university's record as the youngest person to achieve gene fusion. For the second time in history, Zishin swiped the screen, puzzled. A Capital University genius. Could it be that child prodigy from the capital from back then? Normally, most people have to wait until they are adults to undergo gene fusion, otherwise their bodies won't be able to withstand the effects of the beast genes and are very prone to mutation. However, this prodigy from the capital can now be called a genius of Capital University, having already fused with genes a second time before even turning 18. This kind of physical aptitude is so powerful. Could it be that gene fusion is the best option after all? Scene change to Lin Zishin's home. Many readers left comments full of praise like 50,000 words a day. This 50,000-word update is insane. This update speed is God tier. After 1 month of typing practice, he could now easily write 10,000 words in 1 hour. Spending only 1 hour a day typing wouldn't affect his time for daily training, so this was completely acceptable. Wuxing came over at this moment to ask Xiao Shen, "Your book is not selling badly at all. If you can consistently write 10,000 words a day and the plot doesn't falter, you'll probably get about 50,000 yen in royalties for the first month. Later, as the word count increases, earning 100,000 a month won't be a problem." Hearing this, Zishin felt a surge of surprise. 50,000 in 1 month, even 100,000 with this source of income. I won't have to worry about the money to unlock beast diagrams in the future. Hopefully 2 months of royalties can unlock the diagram of the tyrannical great eagle. Elsewhere at Han Yuan Feng's martial arts class, an internal sparring session was organized to test the students' learning progress as Zishin recalled the fierce battles. His resounding kicks sent opponents collapsing. As usual, he dominated the entire class, beating everyone without giving them a chance to fight back. Zishin received a decent amount. He had just earned 888 yuan and also gained several tens of experience points, completing the natural selection achievement. On the other hand, Shen Xinghan still couldn't defeat anyone and, as usual, was ranked at the bottom of the class. But the difference from before was that when she faced an opponent, she was able to put up some resistance. The last time she faced Wen Yuntong, the person ranked second to last in class, she was knocked off the stage. And the match was over in less than 3 seconds. But this time she fought Wen Yuntong for nearly 3 minutes, and it wasn't just turtling up. For 3 minutes, she actually fought Wen Yuntong head-on. He landed a few beautiful kicks, and Vian Fong, seeing this, praised his outstanding progress and told him to keep up the good work. Then Vian Fong made a straightforward announcement. In a firm and clear tone, he said, 1 month from now, we will challenge the strongest honors class of the sophomore year. The goal, aside from the top 3 students in their class, is to defeat all the rest. Does everyone have confidence? All the students shouted in unison, "Yes, sir." Seeing that fighting spirit, Vian Fong smiled and nodded in satisfaction. Very good. Time flew by in the blink of an eye. More than a month has passed since the novel was released. Tuthan was now at the supermarket shopping. "Hello, I'd like to buy some tyrannical vulture meat." The salesperson didn't hesitate and gave him a detailed consultation. "Yes, sir. How much would you like to buy? We have a promotion right now. If you buy 100 kilograms at once, you'll get a 5% discount." Hearing this, Tuthan thought for a moment and then decided, in that case, I won't buy any for now. He would wait until he had enough money to buy 100 kilograms at once, since it was only a month away anyway. The scene changes to the next day at school. Thanham tagged along behind Tuthan, talking non-stop. Little then, a new section opened in the cafeteria a few days ago. I heard the chef there is an amazing cook. Let's go over and give it a try. He just gave a perfunctory nod in response, okay. In the school cafeteria, chefs were hard at work preparing delicious-looking meals. Thanham approached with an eager face and an excited tone. It smells so good. A moment later, Thanham was holding a perfect lunch tray. She ate while excitedly chatting with Tuthan. Little then, it's a good thing we got here early, or else we would have had to wait in line. He nodded while eating. You're right. Just then, a loud argument suddenly erupted right behind Tuthan. Hey you, why are you cutting in line? Get to the back. I'm not cutting in line. This is the spot my desk mate saved for me. You can even have people save your spot in line. Are you kidding me? Cutting is cutting. Get to the back of the line for me. I am cutting in. But that's my desk mate's line. What the hell does it have to do with you? Is there something wrong with your brain? Your desk mate is right in front of me. What's the difference between you cutting in front of your desk mate and cutting in front of me? I'm cutting in. What are you going to do about it? Thanham saw what was happening and said worriedly, Little Than Ha-vu is arguing with someone. Should we go over and check it out? Tuthan shook his head. Probably not necessary. Look how aggressive Ha-vu is. He's scaring the line cutter. After the argument, it was clear the other guy was Taviet. He then stormed off in anger. You little brat. Just at that moment, Ha-vu then noticed a group of students whispering about him. He walked straight over and asked pointedly, What are you doing? What's that supposed to mean? One of the students in the group gave him a contemptuous look and said mockingly, It means nothing at all. I just want to cut in your line, that's all. Those words made Ha-vu furious, and he yelled loudly, What kind of joke is this? Go get in line. Just as he tried to push the group into the proper line, he was stunned to realize he didn't have enough strength to move them. He couldn't budge them. Thanham jumped to her feet filled with worry. It's Ha-vu. I think he's being bullied. At that moment, Tuthan walked closer and reminded Taviet, Classmate, would you mind getting in line at the back? But he just casually threw down a challenge. I won't. So, what can you do about it, huh? Tuthan took out his phone and said firmly, I will report this. Taviet frowned, looking down on Tuthan, resorting to reporting. How shameful. Death calmly replied with a smug, sarcastic look. I think the act of cutting in line is even more shameful. Seeing that there was nothing more to say, the group of students turned their backs and left. They even showed a disdainful attitude. Later that night, in a villa in the Shanghai city area, a man, the leader of the rat cult, sat on a high platform. He spoke in a bewitching voice. Foolish Chang is dead. Before that, he went crazy, ran to the vegetable market to provoke the security team, and then lost his life. The people below decisively agreed. It's a good thing that stupid dog is dead. He caused chaos and stirred up trouble everywhere all day. I've wanted him dead for a long time. Otherwise, he would have gotten us into trouble sooner or later. Hearing this, the rat cult leader seriously commanded, This kid is new. In the future, he will inherit Foolish Chang's position. Everyone get to know each other a little. Also, the rat god told me that ordinary people are too bitter and difficult to eat. From now on, it wants to eat the flesh of those high and mighty people. Everyone should be aware of this. And you shouldn't offer unsuitable sacrifices. The people below were stunned and shocked. Leader, capturing people from the upper class is extremely dangerous. That's right, leader. If 1 or 2 ordinary people go missing, it's fine. But if someone from the upper class goes missing, it will be a big deal. The leader immediately explained the reason. Quickly select the sons of wealthy businessmen who are beyond discipline. That way, the risk will be much lower. Since you're still new, you don't need to capture someone from the upper class just yet. First, just capture a normal, handsome young man to get some practice. Then bring him as an offering to one of the divine emissaries under the rat god. Hearing this, the man next to him laughed smugly. Leader, rest assured, I will offer the most beautiful sacrifice in the city to the divine emissary. Meanwhile, back in the classroom, Ha-vu was angrily explaining to Death, I investigated for several days and found out that the people who cut in front of me that day are actually third-year students from Key Class 2, the strongest class we're about to challenge. These so-called Key Class students have no character at all. I'm so impressed. Death casually scrolled on his phone with an uninterested expression. Being good at studying doesn't mean they have good character. As he was scrolling, some shocking news appeared. It completely caught his eye. The screen clearly showed news of a large reward for a missing son. Death was completely stunned and wondered, another rich kid has gone missing. This is already the 5th case of a rich kid going missing. Moreover, the motive isn't money at all, because no kidnapper has demanded a ransom from the families. Could these disappearances be related to the cult? The Rat God cult. Soon it was time for the next class. Today, our first-year class will challenge the strongest third-year key class, the same people who cut in front of Ha-Vu last week. They occasionally glanced towards Ha-Vu. Ha-Vu immediately responded with a similar hand gesture. Both teams finished warming up and the match began. Just like last time Shen Qinghan was fighting in the first round. Then the opponent facing her rushed forward and launched an attack. She couldn't react in time and was sent flying several meters by her opponent's kick. Shen Qinghan seemed to be in pain, dragging herself along the ground. The senior from the key class is too strong. Even using a defensive turtle shell tactic wasn't enough to withstand it. Next, the senior rushed to attack another classmate, then returned to Qinghan, who took the full force of her swift kick. Not only Shen Qinghan, but even Li Chuxin and the others were completely powerless against this senior. It wasn't until a slightly stronger, short-haired classmate stepped up that they were finally able to defeat that senior. But the other senior sister on the other side quickly got the situation under control. In less than 10 minutes, this senior sister had defeated 9 people in a row, including as many as 3 male students. Not long after the entire class was beaten so badly that only 4 people remained, Death God Vung, Tu Kit Lekung, and Ha-Vu. Meanwhile, in the third-year middle school class, only 5 students had been eliminated from the ring. And there were still 36 students who hadn't even appeared yet. The 5 people knocked out of the ring were all girls from the other side. Not a single male student from their side had even entered the ring yet. Seeing the tense situation, Vianfeng gritted his teeth anxiously. This power gap is way too big. We can't win at all. Out of options, he turned to Ha-Vu and ordered, Ha-Vu, it's your turn now. The other side still has 6 female students. Go and take them all down. Can you do it? He then stepped into the ring with a confident, smug look. Ha-Vu stepped into the ring with his head in the clouds, thinking, what 6 people? Even if there were a few more senior sisters, I wouldn't mind taking them on. A moment later, Ha-Vu was drenched in sweat. It was over. Ha-Vu did not disappoint, using just a bit of his strength to take down all 6 female students, knocking them out of the ring. At this moment, a firm, confident footstep echoed on the ring. Teviot entered the match with a confident look and a challenging tone. Are you ready to die? Facing him, Ha-Vu wasn't the least bit scared. On the contrary, he retorted sarcastically, you not only lack common sense, but you also lack self-awareness. He's the first male student to fight, so he must be a chicken. This is my chance for revenge. Hearing this, Teviot didn't hesitate and lunged forward with a divine palm strike aimed straight at Ha-Vu the very next second. He took the full force of Teviot's steel fist. Ha-Vu dropped to his knees in pain, his face twisted as he endured it. So fast in that one punch. Then Teviot walked over and arrogantly placed his foot on Ha-Vu's back. You're way too weak, scrub, just give up. He reacted in a flash, launching a divine palm strike with a fierce tone. Get the hell off me. Teviot then kicked Ha-Vu in the stomach, making him grimace. In pain, Ha-Vu quickly collapsed onto the ground. He trembled, grimacing and clutching his stomach. It hurts so much. His strength is definitely on par with the other male students, maybe even greater. He deliberately came out to fight because he wants revenge on me. Damn it, I was too careless. Teviot stood above, glancing over at Death God. His voice rang out with a challenge. Don't you love meddling in other people's business? If you've got the guts, then get up here. If not, then forget it. Pausing for a few seconds, Death God thought to himself, I was just getting bored with no chance to get in the ring. And just like that, an opportunity has arrived. Seeing this, the students below started cheering for him. Go get him, brother, then give him a humiliating beatdown. Cutting in line at the cafeteria is one thing, but to be this disgusting in the ring, to have you no shame. Humiliate him completely. Avenge Ha-Vu. Teviot didn't hesitate for a second. He rushed at Death God with all his might, stopping to aim a powerful kick straight at his face. However, Death God simply raised a hand and gently blocked the kick. Then Death God deftly grabbed Teviot's hair and slammed his head down. Just a few short seconds into the fight, Teviot was already dazed and dizzy. No longer looking as smug as before, only Zishin remained on the stage, standing arrogantly next to Chi-Yue, and a second later he delivered a swift kick, sending him flying off the stage. The other students were shocked and terrified at the sight. Chi-Yue's strength was ranked in the top 5 of the class, yet he was one-shotted just like that. That student is that strong. Seeing this, Yuan Feng frowned and pondered. Lin Zishen is definitely still hiding a great deal of his true strength. Otherwise, this shouldn't be possible at all. Shuji was also bug-eyed with shock. Damn it, that Lin Zishen guy already seemed so powerful. And it turns out that wasn't even his full strength. Liu Gang also exclaimed in fear, is this guy even human anymore? Zishen stared down at the crowd and growled, who's next? Faced with this challenge, everyone turned pale with fear, and just like that, half an hour went by. The remaining 29 students of the 3rd general class were completely wiped out, and as Zishin looked at the motionless opponent on the ground, he idly wondered how far along the natural selection had progressed. The system then displayed some information about the natural selection, and after reading it, Zishin shook his head in disappointment. It's only at 119. This rate of increase is way too slow. He rested his chin on his hand, pondering, every time there's a class sparring session, I'm the last one out. This can't continue. My strength is far beyond the high school level. So there's no need for me to follow the high school's rules from now on. I'll make my own rules, and time passed until the following Monday. In the principal's office, an astonished voice cried out, what? The principal, with a shocked expression, asked Zishin, you want me to arrange a personal challenge match with a prize for you? He nodded affirmatively. That's right. I want to challenge the entire school. And the principal, looking annoyed, replied, you're only a first-year high school student, and you're already making a challenge. The entire school? Are you serious? On what grounds? Zishin stood before her and firmly stated, that's right, principal. Please come with me to the gym, and I'll prove it to you. I have enough strength to make the challenge. And with that, he led the principal to the gym, where she looked around and asked, Zishin, it's so late. Why did you bring me here? He took off his outer jacket and replied nonchalantly, to show you my strength, of course. Hearing this, the principal was stunned, fear evident on her face. Huh? Does this kid really intend to? Zishin, wait a minute. But Zishin didn't let her say another word. He walked over and picked up a nearby barbell. Just like that, he easily lifted the roughly 700-kilogram barbell, and the principal standing behind him was stunned. Her eyes wide and jaw dropped in utter disbelief. So this is the strength he was talking about, 700 kilograms. That's even stronger than Wu Tiancheng. The strongest student in the school's history was as a first year. Seeing Zishin's superhuman ability, the principal agreed to his request without any hesitation. No problem, I will arrange a personal showcase for you. To challenge the entire school, Zishin scratched his head and shyly added another condition. Principal, please remember to set up a prize. Without a prize, no one will be motivated. It's best to create 2 types of prizes. One is a participation prize to encourage everyone to step onto the stage, and the other is a cumulative prize, which means creating a prize pool. The more challenges there are, the larger the prize pool will grow, and whoever defeats me gets the entire prize. But if no one can beat me within a certain time frame, then the prize will belong to me. The principal nodded with a smile and agreed, rest assured. Just let the principal handle it, she will do as you say. Then he continued to express his concerns to her. Principal, as for my true strength, you must keep it a secret. Otherwise, once they find out, people will no longer have the motivation to challenge me. The principal walked over and patted his shoulder trustingly. All right, I'll listen to you. After a bit of conversation, back in the principal's office, she took out a proposal and handed it to him. Death, God, take a look at this plan. What do you think about us organizing a challenge match like this? Seeing the plan she proposed, he happily accepted it. There's no problem at all, ma'am. Thank you for your hard work, principal. The principal smoothed her hair and replied gracefully, not at all. It was no trouble whatsoever. Just then, Vian Fong and Duke Nyan arrived, and seeing the scene before them, repeatedly rubbed their eyes in disbelief. What is this? What kind of topsy-turvy world is this? Vian Fong's eyes widened, completely frozen in shock. The demoness principal, who always wore a stern face at school, why was she smiling so obsequiously in front of Lam Tuthan? And so, time passed. At 2 p.m. that same day, the principal began to introduce Death God's basic information and his recent achievements, just as planned. The rules of the challenge and the prize money were all explained in detail. As expected, the crowd below erupted with students constantly standing up to voice their questions and opinions. Principal, are you sure about this? The principal's gone crazy. He's a first-year high school student, yet he's setting up an arena and challenging the entire school. Where does he get that confidence from? As if he's worthy of our challenge. He just beat the strongest second-year class and is already boasting this much. Anyone who didn't know better would think he'd already defeated the top third-year class. So arrogant with no respect for his betters. Does he think he's Ngo Tien Tua, the strongest student in this school's history? Seeing this, Death God simply said in a firm, serious tone, "Starting tomorrow, I will be holding the stage in the gym for 2 hours every day during lunch break. Everyone is welcome to come and test their skills." As he finished speaking, a thought crossed his mind. Excellent. It looks like a lot of people want to beat me up. This should make the selection process possible. I'll finish this ahead of schedule for sure. The scene shifts to early evening. The streets are bustling, and a young man is strolling along. He was walking alone with a carefree attitude when 2 girls approached him and asked in a flirtatious voice, "Hey there, handsome. Are you all by yourself? Interested in joining us for a few drinks at a bar?" He just gave them a sideways glance and replied bluntly. Seeing his rude behavior, the 2 girls angrily turned and walked away. "Not interested. Get lost. No fun at all. He's destined to be single forever." He then carefully scanned the bustling crowd passing by. "I give up. Is this really how Songhai City works? I just want to find a perfect 10, a truly handsome guy. Why is it that after so many days, I still haven't found one? The men who walk down this street, not a single one is even decent looking." She scratched her head and pulled at her ear, her face a mask of frustration. "If I can't complete this sacrificial mission perfectly, what will the cult leader think of me? Will I be ostracized in the cult later on? At first, I thought about kidnapping famous men, but those guys are surrounded by bodyguards. And as a newcomer to the Rat God cult, I simply don't have the power to catch them." His mood was now a complete mess as the mission deadline was fast approaching. What should I do now? Just then, he noticed the Reaper run past and was stunned by his appearance, exclaiming in amazement that he's so handsome. What a case of searching high and low for nothing, only to find it without any effort at all. The corner of the rat cultist's mouth curled into a sly smile. This is the one. And so he silently followed the Reaper, his horrifying expression emerging. This road seems to have no traffic, so he immediately shed his current appearance and growled. With a few growls, he knew it was time to strike. Before he could do anything, the rat cultist was hit straight in the head by a brick that flew out of nowhere. He clutched his head in agony, thinking, "What is this?" The Reaper stepped forward, holding a brick, his face vigilant. "I can't believe I came out for exercise and managed to catch a mutated rat-form Ratman cultist. I can speed up the unlocking process again." The rat cultist clutched his head in pain, his face filled with angry frustration. "This guy is terrifying, and he's even saying things I don't understand. How could I be so unlucky?" The rat cultist slowly lost his balance and fell in front of the Reaper, who watched with wide-eyed surprise. "What is this? I only threw 1 brick at his head, and he's already dead from that. Are there really rat god cultists this week?" He walked over and used a spell to absorb a bit of the rat cultist's life essence. Whatever. No need to overthink it. I'll just quickly absorb his life origin. Just in case someone comes by, it only increased by 1%. That's so little. No wonder this rat man was so pathetic, but considering my safety recently, I shouldn't go out for night runs anymore after all. Not all the cultists are as pathetic as this one. Some rat cultists are quite formidable after they mutate their bodies, become incredibly powerful, and can even withstand gunfire. A while later, the Reaper went home to shower and rest after a tiring day at 3 a.m. Last night, the city police headquarters had collaborated with the instructors from the Evolution Academy from Shanghai University to wipe out the Rat God cult in one fell swoop. He sat on his chair watching the news, feeling a bit surprised the Rat God cult has been wiped out. The one who defeated the Rat King this time was Wu Tiancheng, an instructor at the Evolution Academy of Shanghai University, a person who has fused with a high-grade creature's gene. On that quiet night, Tiancheng appeared and fiercely attacked the rat cultists. With just a few moves, the cultists were brutally defeated. At Tiancheng's hands, the battle lasted only half a minute, ending in an overwhelming victory. The Reaper watched the fight and marveled to himself, is this the true power of a high-grade being? In the quiet night, a light still shone brightly from a certain apartment building, where a man sat comfortably on a chair, leisurely enjoying a cup of tea. Tiancheng still can't contact the professor. Tiancheng gently blew the steam from his teacup. Then, with a calm expression, he said, still missing. Afterwards, he put on a very serious face, believing that a group of powerful individuals went to Riot Origin Site number 36 back then. Their whereabouts are still unknown to this day. The man sitting opposite him then inquired, what is the current status of Riot Origin Site number 36? Tiancheng sighed and explained in detail, it's considered quite stable, otherwise I wouldn't have had the time to come here. The cleanup operation that year. A few small fries also managed to escape in the chaos. The man sitting across from him heard that and wondered, small fries. He then thought of the rat disciple and calmly concluded. The entire city security headquarters was powerless against the Rat King, yet compared to a high-level genius like you, he really was just a small fry. Then he rushed over, slung an arm around Thien Trung's shoulders, and enthusiastically suggested, well, since you're here, why don't you go back to the old school and give a lecture? Thien Trung looked disgusted. Boss, I'm not some layabout. I have a proper job. Giving a pep talk to all the adorable male and female students is a kind of job too, you know. In a certain cave, the bright moon shone down into its bottomless depths. From within that dark, deep abyss, a voice echoed out. At first, it was just eating stray animals. Then you moved on to young, tender humans until you finally consumed someone of a higher class and cultivated a human form. A massive foot stepped closer to the rat disciple as he spoke in a sinister voice. Don Ma, I spent a great deal of effort to bring you here. It was so you could strengthen our bloodline and dig tunnels, yet you went around devouring humans and caused such a massive commotion. The monster before the rat disciple was massive and powerfully built. It glared its voice like steel as it roared, Tell me, don't you deserve to die? Hearing this, the rat disciple trembled with fear and pleaded, My lord, I beg you, please give me one more chance. The monster leaned in its face right next to his and gave a sinister chuckle. You can have a chance, but... It brandished its sharp claws before the rat disciple, threatening, As punishment, you must pay the price. And just like that, a blood-curdling scream erupted. Along with it, a torrent of fresh crimson gushed out.